There is no place like home. The Rams find themselves back in the historic Rose Hill Gymnasium as they track their way through the season. Familiarity is usually a good thing, but it may tend to yield similar results as time before. That familiarity, the Siena Saints, who have gone undefeated against Fordham, good for an 8-game unbeaten streak. After a hard-fought loss in the classic Battle of the Bronx against Manhattan, Fordham must lick their wounds and do what they have been doing all year long: defend the Rose. And what is the definition of a trap game? The 2-3 Rams could collect a win against the Saints team that has not won all year so far, or fall once again to an acquainted foe. Ladies and gentlemen, Fordham women's basketball is a go. From the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard before, Fordham women's basketball is indeed a go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Madi Dembele, joined here by the one and only Ben Oppenheimer here on Color Analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear the national anthem, you know that it is a go in Frank McLaughlin Family Court. Ben, it's going to be an exciting one here, and a lot of notes to take away from this one. As you said before, Fordham facing a familiar foe in the Siena Saints here. You love to be back in Rose Hill, but that familiarity, as you said before, it can come back to bite you, as Siena seems to have Fordham's number. As we begin to wrap up here, the national anthem. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are live from the Rose Hill Gymnasium, and Ben, just as we said during the national anthem, a bit of familiarity for the Fordham Rams. They face a familiar foe. It's nice to be back in Rose Hill, but familiarity tends to build a muscle memory. Siena just seeming to have Fordham's number.
Yeah, Marty, well, it's great to be with you, first of all. And look, this team is a familiar foe for Fordham. They saw them last year. It was a tough loss, a 3-point loss on the road upstate. And all time, Siena leads 8-0 against Fordham. Fordham is almost looking to settle the score tonight. Talking with Coach Mitchell, definitely feeling that energy that they want to set things right this time. And Fordham comes back to Rose Hill following a 65-58 loss at Manhattan on Wednesday. Fordham 2-3 overall in the season, and nearly 30% of the team's 56.4 points per game have come from Taylor Donaldson, the preseason A10 first team. She's averaging 16.3 points per game so far this year, and that's with some games that she's missed, Marty. So definitely a huge factor, an integral part of this team.
Fordham now 2-3 after 5 without Taylor Donaldson. They get her back in the lineup tonight. And again, she was not only the A10 preseason first team, she was also the leading scorer of the A10 going back to last season at about 17.9. You can count that for 18 points per game. They are glad to have her back. But if you look on the side of the Siena Saints, they have a lineup that's listed full of guards. Go on the website, look at the personnel. Everybody can handle, everybody can shoot, everybody can run the floor. So if you're Bridgette Mitchell, you have yourself a tall task ahead of you. This is the definition of a trap game.
Yeah, Marty, I mean, looking at this roster, you said it, full of guards on the Siena team, and they're really going to use that to their advantage. Expect them to do that, definitely playing that small ball style of basketball, particularly when you look at Anijah Jackson, but also when you look at other players, particularly Teresa Sapala, all the way from Finland. She was playing with the Finland national team back home. Now this is her first start, her first game of the season. Expect those two players to be some big factors tonight for Siena.
A lot of implications and a lot of basketball not yet to be played, but so close to being played. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick it to Coach's Sound right now with Bridgette Mitchell. We got to sit down and talk to her pre-game. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the sound. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with head coach Bridgette Mitchell. Coach, first question here. You look on their website and you got to pay attention to the nuance. Everybody's listed as a guard and you see them shoot around. Everybody has those skills to employ and be a ball handler and do whatever it takes as a primary ball handler. How do you prepare for a team like that?
Definitely, it's going to come down to our ability to guard one-on-one. I think that it's really important for us to take pride in our one-on-one stops. And so we talked about that as a team. So that's going to be a good focus of ours. And then also when they're very similar, it allows us to switch some things man-to-man wise, right? So we'll have opportunities to be able to have the chance to pick their guards, right? Like in terms of being physical and steals and all those things that we love to do, we'll get a chance to do that tonight.
Coach, when you look at the all-time record between you and Siena, 8-0 all-time, do you feel a sense, especially after last season's game, a sense you want to settle the score tonight?
Definitely. I think that, last year we went up to their place and didn't have our best performance. A lot of obstacles. That was right before we went to overtime with Duquesne and lost to Duquesne, very close margin. And then we got into Siena at like 3 a.m. So it was a tough travel trip. No excuse. It was just obstacles that we didn't overcome to get the win. So hopefully today we're faced with more obstacles in terms of people being injured and so forth. So we'll have the opportunity to see what we're made of this year.
Coach, I'm going to take you away a little bit. You look at both rosters, really, Fordham and Siena, a little bit of slice of life. Every player coming from around the world. You have Australia, you have Germany, you have France. What does that say about the explosion, particularly in women's basketball?
Definitely. I think that, basketball, no matter where you go, is a fun sport, and it takes talent to play. And I think that us having the opportunity to go overseas to Greece, exposing us to that international style of play, and loving on our internationals that we currently have, it's an exciting time to be in women's basketball and a fan of it.
Coach, you guys are having a solid year so far defensively, only allowing 59 points per game on the opposing side. But on the offensive side, it seems that...
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Rose Hill Gymnasium, we are now underway. Fordham donning their white lace with maroon, now attacking right to left. It's going to be Taylor Donaldson, tries to hit the screener there. Rose Nelson, and that's going to be no good. Fordham tallying the early turnover to start this one, Ben.
Well, a bit of a wild pass into the paint there, and Taylor Donaldson, as I noted, has been carrying this team offensively. She's trying to get her teammates into the play in terms of getting some points on the board.
For the Saints, it's going to be KB Hadley. KB Hadley, a little bit of wordplay. The Saints trying to put their faith in her. Near side sideline, makes her way to the top of the key. It's going to be now Anaya Jackson. Jackson far side sideline, back out top there for Jackson. Hands it off to Anaya Hooker. Hooker using the Sapala screen, makes her move towards the middle, and it's blocked, ladies and gentlemen, by Taylor Donaldson, but not before she collects the foul. Donaldson, a little bit too much skin on that block attempt there. It's going to stay here with the Saints.
Yeah, a little over-aggressive defensively from Fordham, and defense has been where they've really had a good time so far this year. They've only allowed 59 points per game for opposing teams, so defense has been a strong suit for this Rams team.
Anaya Hooker puts up the first free throw, and that is good. She's going to break the ice, open up the scoring in this one. Far side sideline, you have Bridgette Mitchell trying to coach up Taylor Donaldson for that mistake there. And that mistake leads to 2 from the charity stripe. 2 all for the Siena Saints visiting, employing their press immediately. Trying to inbound it to Amaya Ferguson. That's no good. Stolen by Hadley. But that pass goes to no avail, trying to get it to the receiver in the corner there. Anaya Hooker not able to get it. So Fordham going to make good on that turnover there. It's going to be Kayla Berry as the trigger man. You got Rose Nelson, Amaya Ferguson, Taylor Donaldson in the back court. Irene Mora in the front court looking to release. Ball is in. It's going to be Kayla Berry. Kayla Berry to Amaya Ferguson. And for the Fordham Rams, it's going to be Amaya Ferguson. 8.78 points per game, while also dishing out 60 assists and 25 steals for Cal State Northridge. She is now a Fordham Ram as she tries to receive it. Far side wing there, but Taylor Donaldson, a little bit of a glitch in her system, picks up her dribble for the double dribble.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a bumpy start so far offensively for the Rams, and that's been their Achilles heel all year, just up and down offensively, especially in that loss at Manhattan. So they really need to shore up that part of their game if they want to execute tonight, Madi.
Hadley keeping her head up, trying to get Teresa Sapala into the action. She puts up the shot, but it's going to be an offensive foul there. Rose Nelson hits the deck. She earns Fordham the possession back. We're now going the other way.
That's great defense right there, Madi. Sacrificing your body. That's what every coach, no matter what level of play, they love to see that. Taking one for the team, quite literally.
Kayla Berry and Rose Nelson talking to each other, trying to create some space, trying to beat
the Siena press there. Fordham barely getting it in. Amaya Ferguson as the trigger man there. It's going to be far side wing, Irene Mora. They've gone to Mora a lot throughout the course of this season. Roland Nelson back out top to Amaya Ferguson. Ferguson making her move on Hadley. Puts up the deuce, and that is going to be no good. That's an air ball shot. Attempt at the basket, but not before the foul there. It's going to stay here with the Fordham Rams. Fordham earning themselves their very first trip to the charity stripe is going to be Amaya Ferguson, 2-0, still in favor of the Saints.
Well, you got to like that aggression right there. Just driving to the basket, fearless. You know, even if you miss a shot, if you get some contact, you get to it the line as she makes her first there. And you can never take free throws for granted, Madi. It's the secret sauce of basketball. You make your free throws that can really impact if you win a game or if you don't win a game. And
something you cannot take for granted is when you have a shooter like Amaya Ferguson at the line. She does, ladies and gentlemen, have a beautiful stroke, that left hand, Jay, that she has. Hadley trying to face the press of Kayla Berry and Amaya Ferguson, and Hadley is going to pay the price, and that price is the basketball back. We have a quick timeout here by the Siena Saints as they are now put into the Rose Hill trance. Ladies and gentlemen, 2-2 is your score after about 2 minutes of play here, 8:26 in the first quarter.
Yeah, you love the defensive effort on that one, and just showing the full court press. This team is very strong defensively, as I noted, and that's what they're looking to employ to help them execute tonight, just showing that aggressiveness right out from the inbound. You know, we saw that Siena tried to do that on the other end. They were unsuccessful. It led to Fordham remaining possession of the ball, but we'll see how both teams try to integrate that full court press because, as I said, Fordham likes to do it. They've done it so far in their past 5 games. Siena may try to beat them at their own game. And there's some history, as I said, between these two teams going back to last year. And you have to wonder if there's an extra intensity because they want to right the score.
Yeah, if you're Fordham, you definitely want to get a win in that column against a team that's had your number for so long. But right now, it seems like the Saints are playing Fordham Ram basketball, employing the press, speeding up the game. Fordham, obviously, that is their expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, for those just joining in, 8:26 left to go in the first quarter. 2-2 is your score. All 2-all. I am Madi Dembele, joined here by Ben Oppenheimer. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back on Fordham Women's Volleyball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everybody, it's Lou Orlando, one of your broadcasters for Fordham Men's Basketball on 90.7 FM. Treat yourselves this Thanksgiving. The Rams travel to Daytona Beach, Florida for the highly anticipated Sunshine Slam next week. So mark your calendars. Fordham bows Penn State on Monday, November 25th at 4 p.m. before facing the winner of Clemson and San Francisco in the afternoon on Tuesday, November 26th. Both games will be broadcast live on the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Don't miss 2 of the biggest matchups of the season. WFUV Sports is the home of Fordham basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, move your feet, lose your seat. In fact, we are here from the Rose Hill Gymnasium in the Bronx, New York. The Fordham Rams now coming out of their timeout. The Siena Saints already on the floor here for the Fordham Rams. It's the usual suspects: Kayla Berry, Taylor Donaldson, Rose Nelson, Amaya Ferguson, and Irina Mora rounding out the 5 there. On the side of the Siena Saints, you have Anisha Jackson, you have Taria Price, you have Anaya Hooker. Triggerman's going to be Teresa Sapala. And to finish out the 5 there, it's going to be none other than KB Hadley. KB Hadley appeared in 30 games last season, making 23 starts for the Coyotes in 2023-24, averaging 21.6 minutes here. She's going to be a consummate player in this rotation in the Siena Saints attack here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Anisha Jackson. She's the trigger man as they try to break the Fordham press. They get it past it, and it's a free lane up there. It's going to be Sapala putting up the big deuce, and that's no good. A little bit of an air ball on that one. Up and over, it's going to be Price. No, and it's hauled down by Rose Nelson. She demands her space. Amaya Ferguson now pushing in transition over Hadley. Far side corner is going to be Taylor Donaldson. She puts it up. That's going to be no good. Amaya Ferguson trying to hunt it out and trying to keep it away from Hadley. Kept inbounds by Jackson. Breakaway man is now Bryce. Bryce putting it up over the outstretched arms of Irene Mora. Hustle and grit earns the Saints 2 points.
Well, that was just a chaotic sequence there, Madi, and you know, you have to wonder through that possession what's going through the heads of the players on both teams. It's just a question of who's going to get under control quicker, and in that situation, it was Siena.
It's going to be Rose Nelson trying to attack. Kayla Berry not able to handle the dribble. And it's big Sapala, Teresa Sapala, coming down the lane. Anisha Jackson puts up the deuce, and it's nothing but net. Ladies and gentlemen, 6-2. Siena trying to blow this one wide open.
Yes, Madi, and both teams actually fairly evenly matched in terms of points per game. Offensively, Siena comes in 0-3, so they're looking to get a win, and as I said, Fordham looking to avenge their loss from last year, so both teams have stuff to lose here.
Zipper cut there by Kayla Berry, ignored by Taylor Donaldson. Now it's on the side of Rose Nelson. She bullies her way into the lane, and ladies and gentlemen, I do literally mean bully, because Fordham's going to pick up the offensive foul, the charge there. Rose Nelson, a little bit too much shoulder in that drive attempt.
Well, there's always a finesse required when you're driving inside, Madi, particularly, you know, if you just have a little too much impact, gets a little too physical, you can easily get called for an offensive foul. And every time you're taking the charge, you're taking that sacrifice. So I'm sure head coach for Siena is very pleased with what just happened on that play.
Anaya Hooker blowing by Camila DePool. DePool enters the game for the first time. Rebounded there by Taya Davis. She's also making her first appearance. She doesn't see Anisha Jackson right in front of her face. Kind of a peekaboo play there by Jackson. Mora pushing past half court, makes her way towards the basket. There's going to be the drop step there by Irene Mora. And ladies and gentlemen, she's keeping the Rams in at 4-6 is your score.
And Mora's been a big part of this offense. Outside of Taylor Donaldson, she's definitely been impactful.
It's going to be Jackson hoisting up the early three in that possession, not using the full 30, pulled down by the Fordham Rams. However, it's going to stay here with the Saints. A foul, loose ball foul on the Fordham Rams. Few substitution changes there by the Siena Saints. Anisha Jackson's going to take a seat for the first time in the game. You have Esther Turry. Esther Turry grabbed 89, ladies and gentlemen. Total rebounds, 45 of which came off of the offensive glass. It's going to be Hadley, near side wing, looks to make her move on Davis. Faces the soft double there by Mora and Davis. Looks to make a move, pivots twice. Hands it off to Price. You see Price there with the happy feet on the sideline. She's going to be called for out of bounds. Interesting enough, Zariah Price is playing with a knee brace on that left leg. If you're Siena, you're playing a very, very dangerous game, Ben.
Absolutely, Madi, and you know, a bit reckless on that play, but great defense from Fordham. Get the turnover. Now they got possession.
Taya Davis by the far free throw line extended. Makes her move all the way. Ball to Camila DePool. DePool with the travel. Ladies and gentlemen, she does indeed like that move. Fordham bringing her over from the Puerto Rican national team to do that exactly. But again, the happy feet continue on the second straight play.
Well, we've seen some chaotic and some play that's been reckless on the offensive side of the ball.
Teresa Sapala as the offensive hub. He's going to cross court pass over to Anaya Hooker, who hoists up the three. That's going to be no good front rim, and it's going to be Mora with the rebound. Taya Davis by the free throw line extended, makes a move towards the middle. Back out time for Camila DePool. She's going to take the three this time. It's up, and it's no good. Back iron. Back out top for Irina Mora. Mora again with the double dribble. That is the second time this game for the Fordham Rams. And this is another quick timeout in this one. Both teams struggling to find themselves offensively, Ben.
Yeah, both teams not in rhythm yet. That was a good look by DePool there, wide open on the left wing, just across from the top of the key. And when you look at both teams, Siena is 2 for 8 from the field, Fordham 1 for 3. So Siena definitely more aggressive offensively, getting some more shots.
It's going to be Sapala. Sapala once again acting as the offensive hub. Tries to make the dump-off pass to Esther Torrey there, but it's nothing but Ram defenders there. Taya Davis makes her move on Sapala. It's going to be in the middle. Deep post touch there for Carissa Antoine off the pass from Wilson Santos. Wilson Santos up over the trees that are the Siena Saints, and she's able to get it to go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 6-all. Siena attacking once more. Sapala as the offensive hub, and yet another travel. Ben, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 travels. I counted, but I didn't major in math. It's been a game of turnovers so far.
Yeah, both teams just struggling to keep it under control, quite literally. Tied at 6 right now with 4:58 to go. Still a lack of rhythm, very chaotic, frantic, and we'll see if either team can calm down before the end of the first.
DePool coming off of the Antoine pin down. DePool looking to make a move on Hadley. It's going to be Taya Davis back out top. Guarded there by Hooker. Hooker Switches off of Taya Davis. Davis now working on Hadley. Davis with nothing. Back out top to DePool. DePool puts the ball on the floor. Goes up for the layup. And ladies and gentlemen, and one, I repeat, and one, Camilla DePool. Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of her? Because I will gladly introduce you to her as she gives the Fordham Rams a 2-point advantage.
Well, that was a great drive, and off one leg, just hitting the one-handed floater, and she gets it and the foul. Exactly what you want to see if you're Coach Mitchell. Great aggressiveness, but also smart, drawing some contact. Exactly what Coach Mitchell is looking for offensively.
Camilla DePool, freshman guard, 5'7", out of Carolina, Puerto Rico, Lakeland High Prep. 9 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist for the Puerto Rican national team. So precocious of a talent there. That's exactly why they brought her over from that team, to drive and to be able to shoot the shot when you have it. Camilla DePool, ladies and gentlemen, 9-6, ladies and gentlemen, for those just joining us, 4:35 left in the first quarter. It is a wild one, and Fordham coming up lucky with their rabbit foot. It's going to be Camilla DePool once again, far side wing there. Amaya Ferguson trying to dribble past the guard of Hooker. Ball makes its way to Davis. Davis moving left to right. Tries to create something out of absolutely nothing. Her body ends up on the ground. Ball out of bounds. It's going to stay here once again off of the Siena Saints deflection with the Fordham Rams.
Well, something certainly both coaches will go over is the turnovers. Siena's got 5, Fordham's got 7.
Going to be Amaya Ferguson working once again on Hooker with the quick crossover move. Picks up her dribble, thinks about it. It's going to be Taya Davis, near side corner. Makes her move towards the middle, and Taya Davis, his shot is going to be no good. Santos all over that rebound like white on right. She gets the post touch back, tries to work on the big there. Big hits the body, and Emma Wilson Santos blows it point blank. Not what you want to see if you're the Fordham Rams. Now it's Siena, Anaya Hooker trying to corral her dribble, and it gets just a little too high for her there. So hard, a great defensive effort there by the Siena Saints, but they give it right back to the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, it's just insane to watch the amount of turnovers, steals, and just quick plays that just disintegrate out of nowhere. You know, both teams are really struggling to get under control, and they can't seem to hold on to their possession for that long. And we'll see how both coaches make adjustments to that.
Taya Davis now the guard out top for the Fordham Rams, makes his way to Donaldson. Donaldson over to Ferguson. It's going to be Rose Nelson getting the high post touch. Taya Davis making her move towards the middle once again amongst the trees. No fear on the side of Taya Davis. Absolutely loves to challenge the bigs of opposing teams there. Once again, it's going to stay here with Fordham. Fordham catching a bit of a breather, a little bit of light here as they reset. Not the old school stack alignment, but it's going to be a pop out top for Amaya Ferguson. Kick ball, ladies and gentlemen. Fordham with yet another quick intermission there. It's going to be Taya Davis slaps ball as she's the trigger man. Makes his way to Amaya Ferguson. Kind of exposed Fordham's play there, but Taya Davis getting the ball back. Quick crossover move there. Donaldson. TD as the faithful here call her. Amaya Ferguson puts up the three-point shot. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be no good. Rose Nelson corralling the rebound. Donaldson wide open. And ladies and gentlemen, you can count that. It is butter. 12-6 Fordham, now doubling the Saint output.
Well, that's a great sequence there. Great effort by Rose Nelson, showing that strength, coming up for the rebound, passing it back out to a wide open Taylor Donaldson from the left corner.
Taya Davis, with a little bit too much body contact on Anisha Jackson, so she's going to pick up the quick foul. For the first time in this game, it's going to be Ana Conde, won the Spanish Championship in 2024. Team had second place finishes in both 2020 and 2023 in the Spanish Cup there. Makes his way far side. Jackson with a little mid-range pull-out. Nothing but backboard there. Doesn't even see the net. Taylor Donaldson pushing in transition. Gives it up to Ferguson. Makes her move on Hooker there, and she's going to draw the foul. You like the Fordham's attentiveness and their heads-up play there to pick up the foul in transition.
Well, I just like the fact that they're getting out in transition and they're remaining under control. Yes, she missed the layup, but she also got the foul, and she's headed to the line, which is exactly what you want to make the most of those free throws. They're gimmies, they're layups, even though they're actually not layups. They're layups in a figurative sense that you got to make your free throws. They're an easy opportunity to get some points on the board.
Amaya Ferguson, once again, with that beautiful stroke that she has, a picture-perfect shot. We talk about it ad nauseum on this broadcast here. She is now up to 3 points, Make that 4 points, ladies and gentlemen. Amaya Ferguson, 100% from the line. As we have quick substitutions here, Bridget Mitchell trying to keep fresh legs. Maya Giles-Jones for the first time in this game wearing number 0. Not number 1, but she looks to be a number 1 defender here as she forces the backcourt violation on the Siena Saint Fordham defense working hard.
You know, both teams at 7 turnovers now, Madi. I'm wondering if they're both going to reach 10 by the end of this quarter. We still got over 2 minutes to go.
I won't be a betting man. I'm not sure I have the money to do that. But Maya Giles-Jones gives it up to Rose Nelson, kind of playing the offensive hub, trying to play keep away with Jackson. It's going to be Ferguson near side wing. Taylor Donaldson, top of the key, hits it. That's going to be no good. But Donaldson following her own rebound, trying to fight for it. But Sapala comes up with it. Sapala trying to take on the whole 5 Ram defense to no avail. Siena going to get bailed out with the little contact before out of bounds from the Fordham Rams. But Siena playing a very dangerous game, 1v5, not what you want to see.
Yeah, just not exactly playing a cohesive form of basketball. And right now they're already down. You look at it's 14-6 with 2:22 to go. Fordham is in a good position right now to take control and to play more under control.
Low post touch there, up and over for Sapala. Sapala's not able to get it go. Sapala tries once more, not before she's fouled. Precious Omashola for the first time in this game. She's checking in, but she is going to be the fault man here for the Fordham Rams. And we talked about, Ben, Teresa Sapala before the broadcast. She missed some part of the earlier season, but she was preseason All-MAC first team All-MAC selection for the 2023-2024 season. And boy, are they glad to have her back.
Yes, they are, and she was over playing in Finland for her home country's team, so it was not an injury, but was playing overseas, and now she's back in the States as she makes her first free throw at the line.
Teresa Sapala, 1 point, already 3 rebounds and assists. Perfect from the line. She looks to continue to do that. Shot is up. Shot is butter, ladies and gentlemen. Rose Nelson taking it out quick, trying to catch the Saint defense out of whack. It's Taylor Donaldson making her move towards the middle. The left-hand flow is going to be no good. And it's going to be the smallest man on the court, Anaya Hooker there. She loses her dribble. Taylor Donaldson trying to make a move on Jackson. The shot is up. And ladies and gentlemen, from the same spot, it is money and one, 16-8, doubling the Saint output. Bridget Mitchell was loving it on the sideline. Fordham up 8.
Taylor Donaldson showing why she was ranked first team A10, for the preseason. She has such a great ability to drive inside, use that strength to get the foul or make the layup. And right now she's going to shoot one after gets the and one, and she makes it 17-18.
17-18 indeed, a 9-point hole Siena finds themselves in. Facing the press is going to be Hooker. Hooker into the dribble of Taylor Donaldson. It's going to be a foul there by Rose. Rose sticking up her hand saying, my bad. She knows she got a little bit too much contact there. She's going to take a seat here. Back into the game for her is going to be Kayla Berry, junior forward. 5'11" out of yours truly, Brooklyn, New York, St. John's Prep. Shot 65% from the floor, sinking 17 of 26 attempts. Once again, just as the intercom just said there, Anaya Hooker, freshman guard, 5'8", Linwood, Washington State, ranked the number 5 combo guard in the state of Washington. And Ben, I don't know about you, but we talk about California, we talk about Texas, we talk about New York City, but Washington, they play themselves some basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting part of the country, particularly for this sport, and you definitely have some great recruits coming out of there as she makes her second.
Talk about the state of Washington, Zach Levine, DeJounte Murray, and ladies and gentlemen, Anaya Hooker. It's going to be Amaya Ferguson at the top of the key, making her move towards the middle. Tries to find the pass that's practically not there. Precious Omashola corralling her own rebound, tries to put it up, and Precious Omashola putting it up, the big body in the middle, extending this Fordham lead. Siena trying to come back down. It's going to be Sapala. Sapala thinks about the 3, fakes out Ferguson. Back far side wing. It's going to be Jackson, puts up the 3. No good. Sapala in the middle, corralling the rebound, restoring order. Ladies and gentlemen, that is yet another foul that Teresa Sapala has drawn here. And that's going to be yet another trip to the free throw line for her. 19-9. She's trying to bring them back in.
Well, Sapala just showing why she's the most potent offensive weapon on the Siena team. The ability not only to shoot, as we saw her almost shoot it, but then fake it out. She can also drive inside, easily make the layup or get to the line, shooting 2 right now, and she makes her first off the bounce. And you definitely have to watch her.
Teresa Sapala, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Ladies and gentlemen, for those just joining us, 1:30 left to go in the first. And Sapala, number 7, that is, making her impact felt. She goes 2 for 2 at the free throw line there. Maya Ferguson trying to take back momentum for the Rams. It's going to be Miles Giles Jones. Far side corner there, picks up her dribble, down in the post for Omosholo. Omosholo's pass back out top is batted away, and now the Saints are running the other way. It's going to be Anisha Jackson to Sapala. Sapala getting a lot of touches out of the post, makes her move towards the middle, and the little flush shot there, the little lay over the outstretched hands of the Fordham big is able to go 19-13. Fordham trying to push, trying to get it back to get action there between Donaldson. Flare screen. She puts a shot up, and the shot is back iron once more. Donaldson hits the deck as Saints get back in transition. It's 1-on-3, and Hadley leaving it up to Hooker. Siena blowing the blatant 3-on-1, but Sapala puts up the float, puts up the score, 19-15, Fordham.
Yeah, both teams just playing at such a fast pace, but it seems Fordham is playing slightly more under control, but definitely both teams looking to slow it down a bit.
Kayla Berry nailing the big time deuce there from about 19 feet. Kayla Berry, not a shot that she likes to take a lot, but it is something she should consider. Fordham up 6 here. Anaya Hooker trying to slow things down as she makes her moves on Taylor Donaldson. Leaves it up to Jackson. Jackson making her move, moving right to left. Puts up the wild shot there. In and out, almost like a toilet bowl there. Not frustrated with herself. Anaya Jackson fouls Amaya Ferguson on the rebound there. Shot goes in and out, and that kind of seems to be a summarization of the Saints game here. In and out, close, but no cigar.
Yeah, and right now they're shooting 4 for 14. They were shooting more shots than Fordham early on this quarter, but now Fordham is shooting more. They're 7 for 17. So originally, Siena more aggressive, making more shots. Now Fordham more aggressive, making more shots as she's at the line, and she makes her first.
And of anyone on this Fordham brigade that you can foul, Amaya Ferguson is certainly one of the last people that you want to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 of 5, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Count that for 100%, and A+ from the charity stripe. Fordham now getting back. It's going to be Sapala, the trigger man for the Saints. Hooker trying to push in transition. 8 seconds left to go in this one. Camilla DePool hits the floor. The mid-range shot there is going to be no good for the Saints. They're going to get one last crack at this egg. That is the first quarter as the ball corrals out of bounds on the Fordham Rams. 2.9, ladies and gentlemen, as the first quarter comes to a close. Fordham looking to end this on a high note. Siena looking for the score. Hooker, the trigger man, looking for something, anything, near the 5 seconds. And Fordham gets the 5 seconds there. Siena not able to come up with anything for a shot attempt. 2.9 left to go. Fordham getting the ball back.
Yeah, great defense from Fordham on that play. And, you know, Siena got the second chance, but we saw now it's going to be a timeout, 2.9 to go.
Timeout, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, there. Timeout on the side of this Siena Saints here. Anaya Hooker not able to come up with anything. The Saints quick on their feet, calling up something, giving themselves a little bit of breather there. Fordham having to survive for 2.9. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Madi Dembele, joined here by Ben Oppenheimer as the color analyst. Very interesting game here, 23-15. Not too big of a margin, but they feel like a tale of two different cities.
Yeah, Madi, particularly when you look at Siena's shooting from the field, they're shooting 26% right now.
Up and over, it's going to be Zariah Price as she just straight up fumbles the dribble. Zariah Price back out there with the knee brace on the left leg. Ball seems to have hit one of her legs there. Fordham able to get the last shot of the day. It's going to be Taya Davis. She's going to bet her money. It's up. And it's no good. Not even close, ladies and gentlemen. As the first quarter comes to an end, 23-15. The Fordham Rams taking control of the Rose Hill Gymnasium by a margin of 8. Siena getting hit with the jabs early, but looking to fight back on the front foot. Ben, a lot of basketball left to be played, but you kind of get the sense that maybe the Rams are taking this one.
Yeah, definitely they're in a better position than when this game first started, Madi, particularly in terms of turnovers. They still have a high amount with 8, but Siena has 9. And then when you look at points off turnovers, Fordham has 11 to Siena's 6. So the Rams definitely in a better position than they were at the start of the first quarter.
A war of attrition. Basketball is a very, very long game. If you're both teams, you have to play not just the full 30, not the full 94, but the full 48. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a quick timeout here. And going back to the station, we will have Thomas Tisdale, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Tisdale on your one-on-one scoreboard.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting in the Atlantic 10. UMass lost to Army earlier today in a low-scoring slugfest. Score was 56-50. Davidson nearly pulled off the upset against Wake Forest but fell short, losing by 5. Loyola Chicago, up by 6 going into the final quarter, lets up 28 in the fourth to Eastern Illinois and loses 66-60. We also had a top 6 matchup with the number 3 ranked USC Trojans hosting number 6 Notre Dame. Notre Dame led wire to wire as Juju Watkins' 24 points were unable to lead USC to victory. The Fighting Irish get the big upset win, 74-61. In men's hoops, there were 2 top 20 matchups last night. The number 11 Volunteers faced off against number 13 Baylor in the Bahamas and cruised to a 15-point victory. Cooper Flag and the number 12 ranked Blue Devils traveled to Tucson to face number 17 ranked Arizona. Duke tamed the Wildcats en route to a 14-point win behind a Cooper Flag double-double. Last night, our Fordham Rams closed the gap late to Drexel, but were unable to get the win, falling 73-71. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Thomas Isdale.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear it, you know it, and you love it. Most importantly, from the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York, of Fordham University, women's basketball, Ram basketball. I am Madi Dembele, joined here by Ben Oppenheimer. First quarter in the books. Fordham digging the grave, that is the Siena Saints. They're in an 8-point margin, and Ben, it does not seem like 8 points is enough to tell the story of this first quarter.
Yeah, it was definitely a chaotic game from the start. Both teams turning it over all the time. Just so many very quick possessions back and forth. Just you lose track of what's going on. But then when you look at the end of the first quarter, Fordham took control. They took a somewhat commanding lead. Now they're up 23-15. And what's interesting, Madi, is Siena scored 15 in the first quarter. Fordham averages for their opponents. Their opponents on average score 60 or 59.9 for the whole game. So right now, Fordham is actually on track to keep Siena within their average of the opponent's scoring. If you do 15 times 4, that's 60. Wow. I'm not great at math, but I know that. So right now, Fordham playing at their level defensively, offensively, still looking to get others involved besides Taylor Donaldson, but we'll see if they succeed on the offensive end. But on the defensive end, definitely successful so far.
Fordham going back to the roots as they so accustomedly do. Whenever the offense seems to falter, defense, that pressure in the backcourt, the bodies that seem to rotate is always there. It's always something that Fordham can rely on. Taya Davis trying to put some buckets in the hoop. 9:56 to go in the second quarter, ladies and gentlemen. Back in action. Taylor Donaldson gets the quick touch. Little hesitation there. Quick glitch there. Taya Davis making her move towards the middle. Goes up against the trees once more. No good. Kayla Berry coming down with the rebound. Back out top to Taya Davis. She gets another crack at it. Breaks the guard. That is Condi. Condi leaving her in space there. Not a good shot there if you're Taya Davis. Not able to get it up and over the basket there. Fordham getting themselves another chance. 23-15.
Well, you love to see the effort to get the second chance in that possession.
Once again, Maya Ferguson makes her way, attacking right to left, looks back left. It's going to be Irene Mora. Mora back out top to Ferguson. Ferguson making a move, looking, deciding. Cross-court pass, 2-1, wide open. Taylor Donaldson, and it's going to be short there. And bodies hit the floor for the Siena Saints there. It's going to be Esther Turry on the floor. She's able to get the offensive rebound, looking the way of the ref. The ref gives her the whistle. Siena trying to crawl back out of this 8-point deficit. And for them, the trigger man, the control man, past the free throw line, extended. It's going to be KB Hadley. Hadley calling out the plays. It's going to be Turry acting as a new offensive hub. And it's stolen. Acting as a free safety is Taylor Donaldson in open space. No one's going to catch her, and she's going to put up the 2 points. Ladies and gentlemen, Fordham up double digits, 25-15.
Well, we know what she's capable of on the defensive side of the ball. Turning it into a transition basket, you got to love it.
In the game against St. Peter's, Taylor Donaldson had herself a couple of steals there. It's going to be Kayla Berry gambling a little bit too much on that play. Zariah Price getting the shot up. That's no good. Pushing in transition to the Fordham Rams. Maya Ferguson leaving it up to Kayla Berry. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the how-to on how to run a three-man weave there as Fordham gets the third and one of the game.
Well, you love to see that if you're Coach Mitchell. She talked about early in the preseason, she wants this team to get out and run, steal and turn defense into offense. And this team so far, the Rams in the second quarter, they're executing that perfectly. Exactly what you want to see.
A perfect how-to recipe, courtesy of Kayla Berry, number 25, 4 points, 2 rebounds. Looking to add to that on the sideline, on the free throw line rather. There, the first shot is up. The shot is good. Kayla Berry, 5 points already. She's getting a lot of burn this season, and she's showing exactly right. Irina Sapala trying to push it into the front court. It's going to be Hooker. Hooker looking the way of Jackson. Jackson getting the wide open three, and it's no good. No good. Clanks off of the front rim there. Kayla Berry all over that rebound. Stiffening out like a hound dog. It's going to be Taya Davis making her way past the half-court line. Taya Davis back outside for Taylor Donaldson. Makes her way to the corner. In the face of the defender is Amaya Ferguson. That's going to be no good. A little bit of an ambitious shot there. Saints pushing Condi, trying to make her way through the body of Taylor Donaldson in the low post. Shot is up, and the shot is nothing but air. You could call that one oxygen. Going the other way of the Fordham Rams. Fordham running, you talked about it, Ben. Being able to turn and run in transition after they get their own shot up and stop shots point blank at the rim.
Well, I do want to say it's also important, Madi, for them to be under control in transition. You know, it's great to get out there and run and tire out Siena, but you also have to play under control where you're not turning it over, or if not turning over, not rushing a shot. So you want to avoid those bad habits there.
Davis calling for the Donaldson screen. Donaldson leaves it up to Ferguson. It's going to be Carissa Antoine back out top. Ferguson looking to make a move, surveys the court. It's going to be Mora. Mora decides to take on the mismatch there. That's Hadley. Gives it up for Ferguson. Ferguson dumps it back down to Mora. Mora facing the double team. Loves that little hook shot. And for good reason, it works like money. 30-15. Ladies and gentlemen, Fordham looking to break this one wide open. And Nia Hooker says different. Dump off pass there to Esther Turry. But Turry not ready for the quick pass there. A little bit of miscommunication there as they're down 15.
Yeah, Siena just looking out of sorts offensively, turning the ball over and just out of bounds on that play. They need to find a way to get back in it if they don't want Fordham to take control of this game.
Taya Davis. It's going to be a high post touch there for Irie Morris. She's going to survey the court. She's going to set a screen there for Ferguson. Ferguson into the corner for Donaldson. Switch sides, Mora. Mora facing the quick double team. Taylor Donaldson acting as the release, making her move towards middle, and the pick and roll is nasty. The pick and roll is good, 32-15. Fordham running it to perfection. Anaya Hooker trying to say different. She loses her dribble momentarily, and it's plucked away by Taylor Donaldson. Taya Davis in transition, 2-on-1 advantage for the Fordham Rams. It's up, it's no good. Taya Davis goes up trying to get the second chance points, and you gotta love the effort she exerts specifically in that restricted area, being the smallest player on the court. She's gonna earn herself a trip to the charity stripe as the Fordham Rams are up. Ben, get this, 17 points.
Absolutely, Madi. 2 straight instances of transition basketball for this Rams team. The first time ended up not going the way they wanted, but then the other way, they get the steal, and now Taya Davis shooting 2 at the line, and you have to love what you see from the energy as she misses her first. A bit premature in that one.
Wishful thinking there. It's going to be 4 rebounds, 2 assists for one Taya Davis. Taya Davis, graduate guard, 5'7", 5'7". Out of Decatur, Illinois, MacArthur Garden City Community College recorded 35 steals in the final 28 games of the season, averaging 23, almost 24 minutes per game. Taylor Donaldson with yet another steal. That's going to make it 3 for TD. Camilla DePool with a little sidestep there. That's going to be no good. Back rim finds its way to Taya Davis. She's going to make a move towards the middle to the corner. It's going to be TD. She puts up the shot. That's going to be no good. Carissa Antoine able to get the rebound, goes up amongst the double team, and it's a little short there. Condi with the rebound. A little bit of a foul in the backcourt there. Camilla DePool has to be kicking herself with the shooting performance tonight.
Well, you got to love the effort there, going for the second chance, the offensive rebounding. Every coach loves offensive rebounding, but at the same time, you don't want to be trigger happy so much from 3. You want to try to, get inside, be a little more well-balanced with where you're getting your shots on the floor.
Sapala receiving the get action, but it's blown up completely by the Bulls as she hits the deck. The Saints getting a reset there. Again, a big margin for them to come back. Down 18 there. The Bull playing ball denial on Hadley. It's going to be Jackson. Thinks about the shot. Back out top to Hadley. Hadley calling for the Sabala release. Sabala handling, moving right to left. Jackson back, left to right, puts up the little bang shot. That's no good. Gets her own rebound, puts it up as she hits the floor. That's no good. And Taylor Donaldson gets the rebound, loses the fumble momentarily.
Great defense there from Fordham.
Absolutely. Davis thinking about the court, makes her move towards the middle, a little high keep away there, high pickup, and she's able to get it to go for her first 2 points of the game. Saints looking to push, and it's going to be Sapala with the big time travel there. Didn't get her feet set on the fake out there. Fordham up 20 is going to get the ball back to do even more damage.
Well, Siena's already got 14 turnovers. Fordham's got 9. Definitely not what you want to see if you're Coach Prim.
Nelson, near side wing is going to be Camilla DePool, leaving it out back out top. Ball finds its way to Mora. Mora makes her move on the bank. It's going to be out top to DePool. DePool corner to Donaldson. Donaldson stepping out of bounds. Excuse me, it's going to be a foul here on the side of the Saints. KB Hadley is going to get the credit for that one. Again, Siena just bailing Fordham out, playing defense well, but it just seems that they're getting a little bit too much chicken wing on the side into Fordham. Donaldson hits the ground, picks up her dribble, thinks about it. It's going to be down low to Mora. Mora again slipping and falling. And again, Siena got to get it under control, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good effort defensively, allowing Mora to step out of bounds and turn it over. But at the same time, Siena is not playing well on the other side of the ball. They're shooting 20% from the field, 4 for 20 from 3, 0 for 6 from 3.
Jackson acting as the release there. Trying to make her way past Camilla DePool. It's going to be KB Hadley. Tries to bully Taya Davidson, and that is a blatant foul there on the side of KB Hadley. Elbow to throat. And last time I checked, that is not how you play basketball.
It's not how you play basketball at all. I'm losing track of the turnovers from Siena. In the beginning of this game, I was losing track for both teams, but now there's a clear gap between both teams in terms of how they're taking care of the ball as the Rams and the Saints are in timeout.
And it's going to be the Siena Saints here. Terry Prim, to be specific, that are going to take a timeout here. He's going to talk some things over with his brigade. 35-15, ladies and gentlemen, for those just joining us, 4:54 to go in this quarter here. Welcoming back Charlie Guthrie, one of the Fordham faithful here. Once again, 35-15, ladies and gentlemen, a 20-point lead for the home team Rams here, trying to make a good impression, trying to improve to 3-3 on the season, and hopefully build upon a win streak here, Ben.
Well, if I'm looking at stats that tell the story of the game so far, Madi, you look at points off turnovers. Fordham's got 16 points off turnovers. Siena's got 6. Then you look at points in the paint. Fordham has been doing a really good job getting inside, getting what they want in the paint. 20-6, the Rams are outscoring the Saints in the paint. And then second chance points. Fordham's got 8. Siena's got 4. Siena's also got more personal fouls. They got 11 so far. Fordham's got 8. It's just a matter of, can the Rams keep this momentum up into the second half and after the second half, going into the third and fourth quarter? Right now they have a pretty comfortable lead, but anything can happen in college basketball. You can't get complacent at any time during the game. You know the quote from Kevin Garnett, it ain't over till it's over, Madi.
It's not over until it is over. I'll act as a broken record. Again, 35-15 with 4:54 left to go in this one. Madi Dembele joined by Ben Oppenheimer as your color analyst. I'm on play-by-play here. And Ben, just as you said, basketball is a war of attrition. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon, a 15-round boxing match, if you will, here. And that's the biggest part, the momentum and just keeping it on your side. It's easy to do that when you have a 20-point cushion, but what happens when that cushion slowly dissipates and the deficit gets closer and closer? Siena not finding their offensive footing whatsoever, seeming uncomfortable. Disarray is the word to describe this Saint offense here, with the fouling and the turnovers.
Well, you talk about a cushion, Madi. You look at the three-point shooting for Fordham, 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. That's not good, obviously, but what's been the cushion has been the scoring inside the paint. Points in the paint, 20-6, as I noted. That's what's been carrying them, giving them this lead, and you have to give them credit. Coach Mitchell is pointing out plays, coming up with plays, drawing up plays that allow them to penetrate inside, get a layup, get to the line, whatever they need. They don't need to shoot well from three. You don't need to shoot well from three to win games. Obviously, it helps, but anything has to make up for it, and right now, what's making up for the lack of shooting from the three-point line is the shooting inside the paint. And then for Siena, they're shooting poorly overall from the field, and then from the three-point line, they're 0 for 6, so haven't made a shot from beyond the arc for the Saints.
I think the sentiment here is going to be by hook or by crook. Excuse me, by hook or by crook. One of my many famous adages there. By hook or by crook, Fordham is able to get it done. The three-point shot is no good, but Fordham putting up 35. And there's still some basketball left to be played in this first half, let alone the game. Taya Davis, Rose Nelson making their way past half court here. KB Hadley trying to say otherwise there. Sapala following Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson facing the brief double team there. It's going to be Taya Davis. Davis dumping it off to a wide open Irene Mora, and it's too easy at this point for the Fordham Rams. The Saints trying to go fast. Anisha Jackson blocked from behind by Taya Davis. Taya Davis flexing her muscle. She definitely deserves that one.
What a sequence there, Madi. The beautiful pass inside, and then on the other end, the block or getting a piece of that. Just great offense to defense, defense to offense, whatever you want to call it, on both sides of the ball. Great execution in the second quarter for Fordham.
Out of bounds play for Anisha Jackson. She gets the curl to the corner, puts up the three-point shot. That's no good. Rose Nelson pushing in transition, trying to catch the Saints all out of whack. Hits them with the sweet crossover, but a little bit of contact on the layup attempt. Fordham able to corral the ball back. Mora to Donaldson. Donaldson back over to Nelson. Nelson to Davis. Davis wide open inside is Taylor Donaldson. Davis, all eyes on her, all eyes on TD as they get the wide open deuce there. Jackson puts up yet another three. That's going to be no good. Bodies trying to hit the ground. Bodies hitting the ground, trying to corral the ball, and Taya Davis is all over it. 39-15. The margin continues to get bigger and bigger, and if you're Siena, it just seems like you're running out there.
Well, yeah, they don't seem to be locked in the current slang. They don't, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, they just look lost. On the offensive side, they don't have any cohesion to even keep possession. So Fordham certainly taking advantage as Davis makes her first. And when you talk about a cushion, Madi, I also think it's important to note that Fordham is missing some shots because they're being very aggressive, but then they're getting the offensive rebound to keep the ball in play. So they're getting so many second chances as Davis makes her second. You look at the offensive rebounds, Fordham's got 12, Siena's got 7.
Perhaps the most indispensable element of basketball is the offensive rebound. Fordham having a wonderful time in that aspect there. A little bit of sideline action near Benjamin and myself here as it stays with the Saints here. It's going to be Jackson trying to direct offense, looking for something in the corner. Soraya Price now making her way there. It's going to be KB Hadley back out top. Jackson in the post to Price. Price looking for the big body that is Turi. Turi with the turn around. It's going to be up and over for Price, and on one leg, ladies and gentlemen, she's able to get the bank shot finally for the first time in quite some time. Siena getting the points, 41-17, but Fordham responding on the other end, courtesy of Camilla DePool with the sweet fake out. Sapala trying to push, fakes out to the corner, and it's going to go the way of DePool there. DePool stealing it in transition, another sweet crossover, and running the floor is Irene Mora, 43-17. It's all smiles on the side of the Fordham Rams. 45-17, ladies and gentlemen. I did not major in math, but that is 28 big ones.
Well, that was beautiful, that sequence right there, the transition. Transition's my favorite part in basketball. I'm sure it's many other spectators, commentators, coaches, it's their favorite part too. You just love to see that transition, the steal, defense to offense. A lot of times what we're seeing is the steal comes from a pass from the paint, from someone like Sapala throwing it back out, and Fordham's wings just see it coming, and they take it and run down the floor with it, and then the pass, it's just beautiful. It's like a Renaissance painting, Madi. You have to love what you're watching. If you're a fan of beautiful basketball, you have to argue this is the prettiest basketball that this Rams team has played all season. They're playing with cohesion. They're playing great defense. They're playing with a determination to keep the ball in play after missing a first time, a second time. They're relentless with the offensive rebounding, and all of this effort is paying off. And just look at the rebounding in general, Madi. Fordham has 24, Siena with 14. So it's in the work. The magic is in the work. And also, when you look at the storyline is in the stats.
45-17, 3:11 left to play in quarter number 2. Fordham with their heads up high. Siena, much of the opposite here. Once again, Coach Bridget Mitchell, I gotta love the mentality that she has on the sideline, that taking on that 0-0 mentality here as she keeps fresh legs here. Emma Wilson-Saltos back into the game for the Fordham Rams here. It's gonna be Hadley running the same offense here, tries to make a move on the pool. Taylor Johnson covering the corner. Sabala back out top to Hadley. Hadley making yet another move towards the restricted area. It's up, and it is good. Another score there for the Siena Saints, 45-19, doing whatever they can to wake up out of this mess, try to bring themselves back into the game. Taya Davis handing it off, little get action there for Camilla DePool. Nifty dribble towards the middle, puts up the bank shot. And ladies and gentlemen, she's more than just a shooter. Camilla DePool bringing the lead back up to 28 points.
Love the aggression inside on that play there.
Anisha Jackson fell in love with the 3-ball there, puts up another one. Condi tries to get the little float shot after the rebound there. It's going to go the way of the Ram there. Saints not having much luck on the second chance points, and it all starts with the offensive rebound, as you said, Ben, and it seems to be going the way of the Fordham Ram.
Absolutely. The effort is everything, and that's where it is right now.
Davis making quick work of Anaya Hooper, and she finds herself now within 5 feet of the basket. Back out top to Camilla DePool. The shot is up. The rainbow shot hits back iron there. Caught out of bounds there by Terry Prim. Terry Prim trying to coach up, trying to get something out of this Saint Brigade here as they find themselves in a massive hole. 2:02 left to play in this one, 47-19. Taylor Thompson slaps the ball. She's going to be the trigger man for Taya Davis. Davis using the Morris screen, moving right to left, tries to go up amongst the tree, fakes it out, but it's going to be Wilson Saltos. Puts a little bit too much dip on that chip there. Anticipated the defense. Ball finds its way out of bounds here.
Again, another chaotic sequence. Just struggling to keep control of the possession. That's the story of the game. And Fordham, what you have to like about them, what's impressive is they're getting so many open looks. You know, when I was on the call with our very own Chris Carino at Seton Hall, Fordham was not playing with this level of offensive cohesion whatsoever. Now it seems like a switch is turned on, and we're seeing a completely different story out here tonight.
Ferguson putting her hand in the face of Sabala. Once again, switched on to Hadley. It's going to be Jackson back out top. Faces a soft double there. It's going to be the offensive hub. Teresa Sapala tries a mid-range shot from about 15, and that is nothing but air. May have gotten a little bit of front rim. Rebound is corralled by Tori. And Esther Turi, is going to head to the free throw line there off of the foul.
Well, I think if Siena wants to get back into this game, particularly on the offensive end, they need to make the adjustments of making the ball move around. A lot of times we're seeing, as she misses her first there, we're seeing Siena have isolation possessions where it's just Sapala with the ball and she misses, or maybe she makes it a lucky shot. If they want to have some cohesion as she makes her second, they got to move the ball around as Fordham is doing.
The Fordham passing whips around the court. It's going to be Taya Davis back out top. Davis now moving left to right, and Maya Ferguson fumbling the dribble there, able to get it all under control. Back to Carissa Antoine, back into the game for this one, and she gets it up past the outstretched arms of Esther Turi. Carissa Antoine, ladies and gentlemen, Anaya Hooper trying to say otherwise. Anaya Hooper all around the world dribble there. KB Hadley making her move back to the corner. It's going to be Hooker is not able to get hooked up on the three-point shot there, and a whiff of a shot there, point blank by Sabala. Sabala backpedaling as Maya Ferguson looks to blow past her. Ferguson leaves it up to Saltos in the paint there. Saltos going to get the low post touch. Back out top to Davidson. Davidson tries to make work of Hooker. Hooker up and over. Taylor Donaldson. Oh, they missed her presence. 51-20. Fordham all the way.
That's a beautiful spin move there, and also showing her strength, being able to muscle her way inside the paint, get the layup for two.
Jackson head up high against the guard of Taya Davis. Sabala finds the daylight to head middle, puts up the little mid-range shot, and again, it seems to be front rim here. 19 seconds here left in the first half. Fordham gonna slow it down. They have nothing but that time is now 10 seconds as it slowly moves down. Taylor Donaldson trying to move middle, puts up the wild float shot. That's no good. And if you're Siena, you're looking to push. 3-0, 2-1. Got to put up the full court shot if you can. They don't even get a shot off. Anything would have helped in that circumstance as they found themselves down in the hole by 31 and big ones. 51-20, the Fordham Rams rumble through Rose Hill Gymnasium and defend home court in the first half here. Ben, a complete jailbreak of a basketball game.
Yeah, Madi, this is just a commanding lead for Fordham women's basketball tonight. I mean, a 31-point lead, 51-20. Not what Siena was hoping or expecting. We obviously know that Siena is 8-0 all time, and Fordham just came out determined, not exactly from the start. The first 2 minutes were definitely more of a chaotic, back and forth, frantic style of play, but they found their footing late in the first, and then especially in the second. The second was completely dominant. And then you look at the shooting, Fordham shooting 46% so far in the first half, Siena shooting 19%. 19%, ladies and gentlemen, 51-20, and that has to sting the morale of the Siena Saints. This is a game that you looked at and you possibly think we have their number, we can win, but to no avail. 31 big ones, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a halftime break here, finally get some water in our systems here, and we're going to kick it over to George Svugatakis, who has studio host duties. George, please take it away.
The one-on-one halftime report. Welcome to the Rose Hill Studios. The Rams are leading the Siena Saints with a score of 51-20. I'm George Svugatakis, joined by Thomas Tisdale, and this game has been a one-sided beatdown. I've noticed that it's been strict momentum. Fordham came out of the gates a little slow, giving up 6 of the first 8 points, but then it's been all Fordham. They gave the next 12 were strictly for the Rams, and they ended the half with a score of 51-20, leading by 31 points. Thomas, what are your takes from this half?
I mean, it's just been an offensive clinic today from the Rams. I mean, they haven't shot the ball particularly well from the three-point line, 1 for 11. But the shooting from the paint and down inside has just been incredible. And that's what happens when you play good fundamental basketball, is that you get leads like these up by 31 at half, which is was almost expected with how poor Siena has been this season, but it's good to see that many points on the board.
Yeah, I agree completely. 1 for 11 from 3, but both teams have not shot many threes. A total of 21 threes between the two, but the transition defense and the transition offense have been great for Fordham, forcing 16 turnovers in this half and getting 20 points off of them. It's college basketball. This game isn't a game of sets. It's transition movement, and Fordham has been capitalizing on that. Again, 34 points in the paint out of 51. It's down low ball using all of their height advantages. Madi in the pregame was talking about how all of the players on the Siena Saints team are listed as guards. Fordham's using their size, taking them down low, and scoring over half of their points in the paint. That's college basketball. It's how you get the job done.
I mean, the only concern coming into this game was that Fordham would be spread out by Siena. A roster consisted of all guards, but Fordham's dominance in the paint and then Siena's lack of three-point shooting, the 0% from three, has just been killer for the Saints. And then Fordham's has been just a physical threat and just been dominating down low in the post and transition, forcing 16 turnovers, which is just an incredible number of turnovers for a half. So yeah, just an all-around just dominating physical performance.
And another thing, Fordham is playing team basketball. Only 2 players on the roster haven't scored. All their players have gotten minutes. Siena, they barely have any points on the board. Their leading scorer has 8 when Fordham's has 12. And all on horrible shooting across the board for that team. They're shooting 19.4% from the field.
Yeah.
In basketball, it's a game where you have to make the shots, and that's something that they are lacking in tremendously.
Yeah, part of that is just Siena's just lack of an ability to make a shot, and most of that, I think we have to give credit to the Fordham defense. They've been incredibly physical. And then one thing I just want to notice or point out is that how effective Fordham's bench has been. They've scored 18 points, and I'm delighted to see so many people down the roster and get significant minutes and play a critical role in this 31-point lead.
Yeah, 100%. This game has been straight domination by the Rams. Very happy. 19 fast break points, and again, showing the transition basketball. 2 blocks, 7 steals. It's all around domination by the Rams. It's beautiful to see for a team that hasn't beat Siena in the last 8 matchups. This is a great sign to see. They have fire in their belly. They're coming out swinging.
Yeah, this was on the schedule, was noted as a trap game in which Fordham might be haunted by some ghost from the past. Losing the past 8 to Siena, but from what I can tell, Fordham's playing unbothered by sort of the past history with Siena, and is turning over a new leaf when it comes to this series. And in the second half, I'm just looking forward to see that more players get more significant minutes, and seeing how this bench and how the players on the bench can get more confidence going later into the season.
100%. With this second half coming along, you want to see how the second string can work when it comes to the super more important games come playoff time. And apart from that, what else would you like to see from the Rams in the second half?
I'd like to see them knock down a couple more threes. 1 for 11 is just not
lackluster.
Yeah, it's not where it needs to be. But that's something that comes with time. You go on streaks where you can knock 8 out of 9. And then just cleaning it up. Sometimes they have a turnover margin of 5, but you'd like to see that be a little more large with how poor Siena has been in taking care of the ball. I'm just not really a lot of critiques to have for the Fordham going forward. Just continuing to do the same thing what they've been doing.
On the other side of the ball, what do you think the Rams should do to better their lead and grow it on the Siena, grow it from a 31 to maybe something of upwards of 40? And what do you think Siena could do to kind of stop the bleeding?
I think Siena, the key is just going on a bit of a run, and that starts with playing good physical defense down low. Fordham has been dominating them in the post specifically, and so Siena just being able to knock down some of the shots from 3 and getting good. Just
shots in general, to be honest. They shot 2 for 16 from the field in the second quarter, 0 for 6 from 3, and then 1 for 2 from the free throw line. These points these opportunities they're getting at the line, they need to knock them down because that's free points for them. Make a little comeback. But with the way the defense has been playing, I don't see that coming at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I think Fordham's just going to continue doing what they're doing. I'd like to see Fordham spread out the floor a little bit more, knock down some threes, and that will really open up the paint and create a more sustainable sort of offense that they can take into Atlantic 10 play.
Yeah, definitely. This game has been one-sided, and for the other side of the ball, the defense, one thing we haven't really touched upon is the defense. I know I mentioned the 16 turnovers earlier, but then the 2 blocks, again, showing the size of this team in comparison to the smaller Siena team. What do you think how else do you think we can use our size?
Not really much else we can do besides what we've seen so far with the blocks. The only worrying thing is the amount of offensive rebounds Siena is getting. The only thing is just boxing them out, especially with our size advantage. You'd like to see the rebounding margin to be a little bigger than it is, but other than that, Fordham has been playing near perfect defense, and so you can't have any real complaints.
One thing I am worried about is how Siena came out of the gate swinging. They led by 8 at one point, and that could just be from winning the tip. But how do you think we can prevent that momentum shift from the second half starting?
My soccer coach always said you have to win the first 5 minutes of each half or each quarter in this case, and that's something that the mentality of Fordham needs to change. We see this on the men's side as well, where we tend to start slow to start quarters, and then we sort of ramp up to end quarters. And sometimes that it obviously worked out today, but sometimes the more talented teams aren't going to let go of leads, 8-point leads like Siena had, and so I'd just like to see Fordham have that mentality of coming out of we are down and we need to start off fast and we need to start off quick, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, most definitely. This team really is showing a side that we haven't seen this year. We had domination earlier in the year, but this type of momentum and carrying it through these 2 quarters is something beautiful. And I know the 3-point shooting is lackluster, but what else do you think we can do to keep this going, not just through this game, but through a continuation in the season?
I think just playing to our strengths. Our strength is our size, and it's our low post presence. And so just continuing to work on that and refine that and find ways to make that game more effective. I mentioned how a more effective 3-point presence is going to spread out the floor and open up the inside. And so just working on ways to be able to feed the ball down low and being able to manufacture solid, consistent looks that will work against a lackluster Siena team, but also more of our more talented opponents.
I fully agree. Thomas, we're going to wrap it up here, sending it back to Madi and Ben. I'm George Svugatakis, Thomas Tisdale. Thank you very much. This is...
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Back like we never left. And ladies and gentlemen, if you did not catch that, then you don't like Fordham Rams basketball from the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York. There is a blowout, 51-20, ladies and gentlemen. 31 points separate the Fordham Rams and the Siena Saints. The visiting Siena Saints, they have come into the building and they have not been able to make their impression felt. Benjamin Oppenheimer on color analysis, and he wanted to point something out to me before I was able to get the first half stats. Ben, I think you're looking at it too. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to describe what we saw in this first half, Madi, as an offensive explosion for this Fordham Rams team. They outscored Siena in the first quarter 23-15, which is still very solid. Then in the second, 28-5. 28-5. I have not seen anything like that in my time watching this Fordham women's basketball team this season and being a part of the broadcast. There's no other way to describe it. Just an offensive explosion. And then particularly when you look at the shooting by period, first quarter, 7 for 17 from the field, which is 41%, which is it's not great, but that's okay. Then the second, 12 for 24, shooting 50% from the field. So really a noticeable improvement in the second quarter after what was already a decent first quarter. And then for Siena, on the other hand, they shot 4 for 15 in the first quarter, which is 26%. Then in the second quarter, they shot even worse, 2 for 16, shooting 12.5%. You can't win a basketball game like that. And they're certainly not in the direction of winning right now. They're down 31 points. They really need to light a fire in themselves and find a way to get back in this game, particularly in their defense. Do not let Fordham continue to abuse you in the paint. It's just constantly, we're seeing it all the time. Fordham getting whatever they want. Right now, they've outscored Siena 34-10 in the paint. And then for turnovers, points off turnovers, Fordham has 20 points off turnovers. Siena has 7.
And for the Fordham Rams, it's all smiles here as they get some practice shots up go. With 50 seconds left to go in this little intermission before we get into third quarter play here. And Fordham, it's always been about trying to play complementary basketball. The defense was always there, but the offense seemed to be lagging behind. I'm pretty sure you guys are all aware of the ketchup joke. Tomato telling the ketchup to catch up. and now it seems that the offense has been able to catch up. In fact, surpass the defense of the Fordham Rams. Again, holding Siena to 5 points in that second quarter, perhaps one of the best defensive outputs under Coach Bridgette Mitchell. And again, that mentality of 0-0 is what keeps this Fordham Ram team humble and honest as they find themselves up in the lead that is not humble and honest at all. 31 big ones, ladies and gentlemen. Siena still with their heads up high, coming out with their usual vibe. Zariah Price still with the knee brace there. Teresa Sapala. It's going to be, once again, Anaya Hooker, KB Hadley, and Anisha Jackson to round that out. Rose Nelson, Kayla Berry, Amaya Ferguson. First 3 on the court for the Fordham Rams. Taylor Donaldson and Irene Mora join them. And again, Fordham looking to close this one out. 20 more minutes of play here as we are underway. Anaya Hooker coming strong out of the second half here. KB Hadley into the corner there for Anisha Jackson. Far side corner, dumps it off into Sapala, bumps into the chest of Mora, and the air ball is what Siena's going to get to open up this attempt there. It's going to be a little squib pass out top to Sapala, makes her way back into the middle, and she's able to get the wild air one. A little bit of touch there to get the ball in over the rim and down through the net.
Well, if there's anyone on this Siena team that can help them chip away at this deficit, it's Sapala, just her offensive ability to get whatever she wants in the paint as she heads to the line after the and one. And look, I'll tell you what, if Siena gets within 15 in this quarter, then we have a dangerous game on our hands as she misses that one at the line.
Teresa Sapala, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Leaves the shot there, much to be desired, 51-22. Ladies and gentlemen, for those just joining us, 9:35 here. Taylor Donaldson controls the Fordham offense. Near side wing, moving right to left. Guarded by Hooker. Inside pass. Seems to be nothing there. A bit of a miscommunication between Mora and Donaldson. Not in the intended spot there. Siena catching the break, and they're moving now right to left. The Saints, Dawn in there, black laced with the gold awning there. Hooker back out top to Hadley. Hadley making the one more pass to Zariah Price in the corner. That's going to be no good. Fordham getting all grabby with the rebound, but not able to corral it there. Not before the foul. Pushed in the back there by Sapala. Fordham's going to retain possession.
Well, that was a good defensive effort there and a good first step after that first sequence was not the strongest, but they're looking to wash away those sins.
Ferguson, Amaya Ferguson, that is dictating the Fordham offense. Step up there by Rose Nelson. Maya Ferguson still waiting for something to materialize. A little bit of confusion on the side of Fordham. Fordham opting for the horn set. Maya Ferguson decides to go alone, loses the dribble, and is not able to get it back from Sapala. Sapala's going the other way. Kicks it up ahead to Anisha Jackson. Anisha Jackson puts up the three, and that's going to be no good. Jackson falling in love with the three ball. It has not been her friend. Now falling in love back with her. Donaldson making a move, moving left to right. It's going to be Ferguson. Kayla Berry attacks far side corner, and she gets the wide open lay. Love the idea to attack on the catch. Kayla Berry, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a beautiful drive right there. Love the aggression. Getting the layup for two.
Hooker leaving it up for Kaylee Hadley. It's going to be Anaya Jackson, Nisha Jackson. We have another triple, and she finally gets one to go. 53-25. 28 is what separates the two teams.
That's the first three of the game for Siena, Madi.
She's been getting them up early and often. Kayla Berry trying to make a move on Sapala. Finds Amaya Ferguson. Near side wing, dumps it off down low to Irene Mora. Mora surveying the court, trying to get it to Berry, but not before Hooker is able to thwart it. She's trying to argue her call, pleading and begging with the ref that the error is on the side of the Fordham Rams. Bridgette Mitchell deep in her bag like the fries at the bottom. She's going to do a full team substitution here. Starters coming out. It's going to be DePool, Carissa Antoine, Wilson Zaltos, Maya Giles Jones, and Taya Davis in the second unit here. And a quick turnover there. Nothing but space and opportunity for Hooker, as Hooker, Anaya Hooker that is able to get the quick and one opportunity off of Camilla DePool, trying to hunt her down. 27-53, Siena in the hole.
Yeah, not an ideal way to start out the second half, and you know, you can see why Coach Mitchell put the starters back on the bench. I mean, kind of a complacent, lazy, out of sorts start, and now Fordham appears to be letting Siena go on a run as she makes her only shot at the line. And Fordham, you just have to hope with this bench out there on the floor that they can revitalize some of this energy right now.
The benefit of having a deep rotation, trying to keep fresh legs for the starters, having a secondary unit here. Camilla DePool doing right to left, and a reach-in foul there by Anisha Jackson. Excuse me, it's going to be on Maya Giles-Jones as she tries to keep herself between the basketball and Anisha Jackson. Siena finding some new life in this second half. 7:32 to go, 53-28 here. Fordham with the big-time advantage, but Siena kicking and fighting. It's going to be Hadley looking for player coach direction there. Hooker leaving it up to Jackson once more. Looks to the corner, nothing there. Back out top to Hooker. Hooker, it's going to be Condi as the middleman there. Condi tries to put up the shot. That's going to be no good. Maya Giles-Jones, the great positional size of Maya Giles-Jones. She's able to grab the rebound and push in transition, trying to bully Hadley, and she puts the layup up, and it's no good. But Emma Wilson-Saltos is all over it on the finish there on the follow, 55-28. Siena puts up the shot there. Anisha Jackson fell in love with the three, and it's starting to show her some love back. Ladies and gentlemen, that's her second straight triple, 55-31. Davis makes her move towards middle as she's so accustomed to. Carissa Antoine drives her hand. It's up, and ladies and gentlemen, it is just out, barely out there, as Fordham is able to stop the momentum there. Maybe that's able to stop the onslaught that has been this Saint offense.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this bench, they've definitely been more energetic than their starting counterparts, and Coach Mitchell, I'm sure, loves to see that, going for the offensive rebound, getting the second chance points. But Siena looks like they're coming alive, coming out of their funk that they were in offensively, and now Fordham really just has to lock in on the defensive side of the ball as she makes her first at the line, and you just have to be disciplined and not let the three be a place where they get beaten.
Carissa Antoine putting up the first shot. That's good. Second shot is indeed money. 4-2 night here for Carissa Antoine. It's going to be Anaya Hooker once again facing the guard of Camilla DePool. Quick trigger again for Anisha Jackson. That one is no good. As bodies hit not the floor but the sideline, in fact. Camilla DePool trying to corral that one before it goes out of bounds. Helped up by Siena assistance there. She's all good as she's on her feet there. Going to stay here with the Siena Saints on the DePool flubbed attempt there. It's going to be Hooker as the trigger man. Hooker surveying the court. It's going to be Sabala. Sabala leaving it up to Jackson. Jackson fakes out the three, makes a move towards the middle, puts up the little shot, the little runner from about 11, and she is able to get it to go. 57-33. Siena showing some fight early in this second half. A little bit of get action here out top for Miles Giles-Jones. Miles Giles-Jones taking it around the world, has nothing against Sabala. Antoine tries about the little 15-footer, that's no good. Puts it back out top for Camilla DePool. She puts up the three, high arcing shot, no good. And it's Soraya Price on one leg in transition. Classic 2-on-3 opportunity here, and they just throw it away. The Siena Saints, just when they seem to be getting out of their own way, they get back within their own way, 57-33.
Yeah, I mean, Siena just looking better out there offensively, but still showing some of those negative tendencies from the first, those turnovers. As it looks like that is going to stay with Fordham.
Yeah,
Jackson not a fan of that one.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there. Anisha Jackson getting into the body of Camilla DePool. Bumped her, and it was enough to get a turnover here after much deliberation, not to the, I would say, to the dismay of Camilla DePool.
Looks like they reversed the call because originally it was going to remain with Fordham.
Kind of one of those gray area things in basketball. Camilla DePool not liking the call. She thought there was enough contact to warrant that the ball stays on this side, but instead it's going to be Siena attacking right to left, specifically Anaya Hooker here leaving it up for Anisha Jackson. Jackson begging and pleading with the ref. She gets her way, and they get the triple there as Teresa Zapala has woken up. 36-57. The Fordham Rams still with a big cushion, but facing some difficulty here. And again, it's going to stay with the Fordham Rams because the Siena Saints putting a little bit too much body between the get action there. Fordham getting the call that they should have got, or felt as if they should have got on that last play.
Well, if you're Fordham, you got to be a little nervous right now. What was once a 31-point lead is now a 21-point lead, and the third quarter is usually when you got to fully establish your dominance, and they haven't been doing that so far. If this fourth is close, all bets are off.
Bit of a campfire here, top of the key. Taya Davis is trying to work, trying to materialize anything. Camilla DePool trying to attack off the catch here. It's going to be Davis denies the Salto screen, runs the pick and roll with Carissa Antoine, and a little bit of miscommunication there. Siena able to bat away that action. Fordham's going to stay here as they get another try at it, another stab at it, 57-36, but it feels like this quarter goes the way of the Saint here. Sideline out of bounds here, Taya Davis as a trigger man, far side corner there. It's going to be Camila DePool. She takes a step back three. That's going to be no good. Far side iron there. Anisha Jackson slowing down the pace, trying to play keep away from Camila DePool. This on-ball defender gets the switch on to Taya Davis. Swings it back out top for Anaya Hooker. Triple threat there. And it's going to be down low to Condi, ladies and gentlemen. Condi facing up, going past Maya Giles-Jones, but it's going to be a foul on the side of Emma Wilson-Saltos, shaking her head. She doesn't like that call. Minimal contact, but Siena getting the call.
Well, this third quarter has just been fully positive for Siena. They were chipping their way slowly but surely away at this lead, and now both teams are talking it over right now. And you know, if you're Coach Mitchell, you certainly have to not be pleased with what you're seeing out there. As I mentioned earlier, Madi, the third quarter is the opportunity to put the game to bed, and then let the fourth be a time when you're giving your bench some time to get some playing time, the younger players, and have more of a relaxed finish to the game. But right now, what we're seeing in the third, we could be seeing a very close game in the fourth if this trend keeps up, and that's not the position you want to be in if you're Fordham. I said anything can happen in college basketball, and certainly on the three-point line, Siena was once shooting 0%, now they're at 20%. They were once shooting only 20% from the field, now they're up to 28%. Those still aren't great numbers, but they're slowly creeping up. The question is, how much further and how much longer are they going to creep up? It's still a big lead to cut into, but if 21 turns to 11, Madi, and 11 turns to 1, anything can happen.
Basketball is indeed a game of friends. Ben Oppenheimer on the call with yours truly, Madi Dembele. And again, 57-36, but you feel all the momentum on the side of the Saints here. And again, Ben, the third quarter is indeed where you want to be playing your best basketball. Bridgette Mitchell putting in the second unit to try to give the first unit, the starters, some time to relax so they could come out with the barrage. All that this second unit has to do is maintain a sizable lead here, and it has not been the case. 57-36, 4:54 left to go here from the Rose Hill Gymnasium in the Bronx, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick timeout break. We'll be back after this.
What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're your broadcasters for the 2024 Fordham football season.
The Rams chase a Patriot League title led by league-leading quarterback C.J. Montez and a host of talent, including James Conway, Niall Perkins, and Garrett Cody.
You can catch all of the games this season right here on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page.
WFUV Sports, your home for Fordham football.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't blink, because we have ourselves, I would say, a game from the momentum in which it feels from the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York. Madi Dembele joined here by Ben Oppenheimer as your color analyst. 57-36, but Ben, we talked about it ad nauseum before the little intermission there. Side of momentum goes the way of the Saint here. Fordham with the sizable lead, but basketball is a game of runs, and Fordham is currently playing the most dangerous game.
Yeah, Siena just building up their momentum right now, brick by brick, slowly but surely. They're making their way back, and for Fordham, you just have to hope with the starters back in there that they're going to put this one to rest. And with 4:54 to go, there's still a lot of game left to be played, a lot of time left to be played here in this third quarter.
Anna Condi, freshman guard, 6 foot, Madrid, Spain, won the Spanish championship in 2024. And Ben, we talked about the size of the bigger players of this Siena team, the fact that they have guard skills here, but one player that has guard skills is indeed Rose Nelson, and she takes it past the half-court mark. It's going to be Kayla Berry. Thinks about the little mid-range shot that she loves. It's going to be back out top to Amaya Ferguson. Works slowly on Anisha Jackson, and Jackson comes up with the ball, fighting as tenacious as she can be. KB Hadley pushing back. It's going to be Conde. Conde once again calling for the get action. It's going to be Anisha Jackson as the receiver. Back out top. Calling out the play. It's going to be Hooker. Anaya Hooker working slowly but surely. Anaya Hooker with nothing. Back out top to Conde. Conde gonna have to work with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Puts the shot up, and the shot is no good. Shot is open. Ball is on the floor, and it's gonna be Caitlin Hadley who comes up with it. Nisha Jackson getting another crack at this egg. Takes a step back 3. It's up, and it's gonna be no good. Kayla Berry securing the side of possession for Fordham.
Well,
Berry.
Good defense there from Fordham, but not good letting the second chance go to Siena.
Berry thinking once more about that mid-range shot from about 19. And a little bit of foul, a little bit of a kerfluffle under the basket there. It's going to be Esther Turry doing the old pull a chair on one. Irene Mora is going to stay here with the Fordham Rams here. Defensive foul. 3:49 left to play. 57-38, ladies and gentlemen. For those just joining us, we are live, L-I-V-E, from the Rose Hill Gymnasium. It's going to be Amaya Ferguson taking it out. Taylor Donaldson acting as the receiver. Far side wing there. It's going to be Irene Mora surveying the court. Tries to make a move of her own. That's going to be no good. Picks up her dribble. It's going to be Taylor Donaldson. Tries to make quick work of Hadley. The shot is up, and the shot is good from about 12 there. Taylor Donaldson, ladies and gentlemen, she needs no introduction.
Well, that's exactly what you want to see from her. Getting the team back in it and getting out of the funk they've been in.
Kayla Berry stunting on the ball there. She leaves Hooker wide open. Hooker makes Fordham pay. Makes Kayla Berry pay on the wide open 3-point attempt. 41-59, crawling back is the Siena Saints. Fordham trying to keep them at bay. Kayla Berry looking the way of Rose Nelson, denies her the pass, and she's going to throw it up as she gets fouled there. Anisha Jackson not in love with the call by the near side official there. Fordham stopping play.
I think one trend that's been unfortunate to watch it if you're Fordham is they're not playing as beautiful and cohesive of basketball that we saw in the first half, particularly in the second quarter. It was defense, offense, steals, points off turnovers, transitions, great moments as Berry shoots.
Gets the first one to go. Ben 7-4, night for Kayla Berry, 60-41 Fordham. Certainly a large margin for them, 19. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I did not major in math here. As Kayla Berry looks to put it within a 20 here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium. 3:05 left to play. Anaya Hooker. Hooker leaving it up to Sapala. The quick trigger off of the little curl action coming from the corner. That is nothing. It completely clanks. Turry not able to come up with the rebound. Hits her leg as it goes the way of the Ram here. Back into play here. It's going to be Mora leaving it up to Amaya Ferguson. Ferguson putting it past the Fordham Ram logo at half court. Ferguson using the Omashola screen. Pressures Omashola back into the game. Pressures Omashola once upon a time, dropping 69 points, trying to seal off the smaller Hooker. Back out top for Ferguson. It's going to go the way of Mora. Mora looking the way of Omashola, puts up the shot. That's no good. Omashola gets the shot attempt of her own, and she's able to clean up, leave nothing on that plate. 63-41.
Great second effort on that one.
Conde back out top. It's going to be Price. Far side wing there. It's going to be Turry making her own move there. She gets hit in the face inadvertently by Precious Omashola as she was attempting to make her move. She's able to draw the foul.
You know, what we've been seeing so far is Fordham looking a little bit more energetic out there, specifically, especially with those second chance opportunities, keeping the possession in play and getting some points on the board. But it's not as complete a product on the offensive end as we saw in the first. And you're wondering, will that come back late in this quarter or in the fourth?
Esther Turry now, sophomore guard, 6'1", Budapest, Hungary. Hunvalvi Janos bilingual, grabbed 89 total rebounds, 45 of which came from, get this, the offensive glass. You see it in green there. BONUS, ladies and gentlemen, that is bonus for the Siena Saints here. Fordham going to have to play the long game with the fouling. It's going to be Amaya Ferguson back out top, denies the Omashola release pass. It's going to be Kayla Berry trying to direct traffic, uses the Omashola screen, tries a little dump off pass, and Omashola gets almost hit in the face from behind by Zariah Price. There's Price not happy with the defensive rotation, the effort there by her fellow Saints.
Yeah, definitely a slower pace of play that we're seeing in the second half so far. You know, so many quick possessions, chaotic possessions in the first, and now the game seems to have slowed down a little bit for both teams.
And it's going to be Precious Omashola, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of foreshadowing there on the broadcast. I said 69 points, ladies and gentlemen. That's the amount of points she once upon a time scored in a 2021 campaign. Precious Omashola getting another point here at the free throw line, a 5-3 night for her. Freshman forward, 6'2", London, England, Riverside Sixth Form, LBA, that's London Basketball Association MVP and gold in 2022. Leads the second one at the free throw line here. It's going to be Sapala pushing hard. Sapala makes a quick move on Kayla Berry, pulls back because she has nothing. It's going to be Hooker here. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes exactly, 64-43 is your score here. It's going to be head coach Terry Brim trying to coach his team in the course of action. Hooker making her play, denying the Condi screen. Up and over Bryce. Bryce with the little hook shot. That's going to be no good. Mora snags down the rebound. Amaya Ferguson looking in transition, keeping her eyes up. She has nothing, pulls it back. It's going to be Mora. She's going to put up the three-point attempt. That's going to be in and out there, but Kayla Berry sniffs out the rebound there. Ferguson. Sapala trying to play defense there on Kayla Berry. Kayla Berry puts up the three-point, tracks down her own rebound. Ferguson trying to get Berry out of that corner. Omashola wants to mismatch, but she's not able to get the ball. Horrible pass indeed. Sapala putting up the quick three over Mora. That's going to be no good. Ferguson now pushing in transition. Both teams playing a little bit of shoot around here. Ferguson leaving it up for Kayla Berry. Kayla Berry slowing down the pace of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute exactly to go with this one. 17 on the shot clock for the Fordham Rams. Taylor Donaldson slow dancing with the basketball there. She makes her way back to the far side wing there. Donaldson, hesitation there, dumps it off to Mora. Mora corralling the ball out of bounds, and after much of a long offensive possession, Fordham's not able to come up with anything.
Yeah, just many moments here in the third quarter where Fordham's chucking up shots and not playing in the efficient way they did in the first, and they're paying for it. It's a closer, more drawn out, grittier style of play that we're seeing here in the second.
It's going to be an elbow action here. It's going to be for Caitlee Hadley. She's not able to get the little 15-footer to go. Carissa Antoine snagging down that rebound and leaving the rest up to Amaya Ferguson. She makes her way by the scripted Fordham logo by half court. Mora deciding what to do with it, playing hot potato. Amaya Ferguson trying to work on Hadley. Not much of action by the Fordham Ram offense. Carissa Antoine tries to dump it down to Mora, and Mora, like a true back-to-the-back center, as she's been described, gets the quick and one to go. BONUS. 7.3 seconds left to play in the third, and one, ladies and gentlemen, and one.
Well, her offensive contributions to this year's team can't be understated. She has a great back-to-the-basket ability, turn around, get the shot inside, great strength. Definitely an offensive weapon.
And with enough luck here, Irene Mora could be on track for a double-double. 13 and 6 rebounds, that is, for her on the night. Just 4 more, and she has herself a heck of a night. It's going to be Soraya Price on one leg once again with the little runner. That's no good. The float from about 16. Base off sideways here. 67-43. Fordham able to do just enough to maintain their very sizable lead and give you the impression that this game is not only theirs to lose, but their game to put in the win column.
I agree, Madi. I mean, they definitely did not start out the way they wanted to start out the third quarter, but they seem to have stopped the bleeding for the most part, and you have to hope that they can prevent anything further from happening. Right now they have a 67-43 lead, so that means they only gave up around, looks like around 7 points, because they were leading by 31. Now they're only leading by 24. So they gave up 7. They're hoping they won't give up any more and can end the fourth smoothly.
Playing math class with Ben Oppenheimer here. Again, another great defensive quarter there by the Fordham Rams. Last quarter being the best with 5 points allowed. This time you get the impression that they're not going to be able to repeat that, but only allowing 2 more points. Fordham over the course of 2 periods. 12 points. I didn't major in math, ladies and gentlemen. I say it ad nauseum, but that is 6 points per quarter over the last 2 quarters for the Siena Saints. Again, they've been getting hit with the jabs. They've been getting hit with the with the hooks, and they seem to be getting hit with the knockout punch here. 10 minutes is all that separates the Fordham Rams here, and 10 minutes is all that separates the end of this game. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here as we return back. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere because you can see yourself a runaway game. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn. Don't blink. We'll be right back.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
We had a top 5 matchup today in the Big Ten as number 5 Indiana traveled to Columbus to take on the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. After an early Hoosier touchdown, it was all Ohio State, scoring 31 unanswered points en route to a 38-15 win. Huge upset in Gainesville as the Florida Gators stifled the number 4 ranked offense of Ole Miss to destroy the Rebels' hopes of a playoff spot. Final score was 24-17. Number 14 BYU tried to rebound after an abysmal loss to Kansas last week. Couldn't get anything going against Arizona State until it was too little too late. ASU fans marched the goalpost down to the Salt River after the Sun Devils win 28-23. Heisman hopeful Travis Hunter tried to will number 16 Colorado to victory against Kansas, but Devin Neal's 4 touchdowns proved too much for the Buffaloes to overcome. Jayhawks win 37-21. Number 19 Army and number 6 Notre Dame are both looking for a statement win at Yankee Stadium as they hunt for a playoff spot. Army's run-first, run-second offense is not working as the Fighting Irish lead by 3 touchdowns at the half. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Thomas Tisdale.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn, use the bathroom, grab the soda, because we are back from the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx, New York. Jailbreak. I repeat, jailbreak. The prisoners are indeed loose. The prisoners are the Fordham Rams. 67-43 is your score here. 24 is what separates them from the Siena Saints, who, despite all their effort, seem to be lagging behind in all categories.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the third quarter, it wasn't that Fordham did a bad job defensively. They actually did do a very good job defensively. They held Siena to 36% shooting. It's just on the offensive side of the ball, you would have liked to see more from the Rams.
Donaldson with the step-up screen, receiving the flare of her own by Antoine. Antoine wide open under the basket. Ferguson waves her off. Far side corner there by Taylor Donaldson. She nails the sidestep 3 like it's nothing, almost like it's drinking water. 70-43 here for the Fordham Rams. Condi surveying the court, acting as the offensive hub. Zariah Price coming off the pin down there. Esther Terzi not sure what to do with the Turry, handing it off to Hooker. Hooker to Price. Price fakes out the 3. A little bit of a kerfluffle again. Hooker far side wing here, opposite side of the court. It's up and it's no good there. A lot of those for the Siena Saints there. Zariah Price seems to be drilling out, tries to take on Ferguson one-on-one. Back out top for Hooker. Hooker into the corner to Condi. Condi thinks about it, picks up her dribble, makes her move towards the middle. It's up and over, and Carissa Antoine with all ball, ladies and gentlemen. No foul there. Bridgette Mitchell donned in the dress with the claps and the smiles, ladies and gentlemen. Carissa Antoine is here to stay.
That's a beautiful defensive play right there, and she's certainly still a young player, and you love to see that high defensive IQ getting all ball, as you said, Madi. Just very smart and showing that strength. Not today.
Fordham with the campfire all over Condi, swarming her for the basketball. They come up with the turnover there. Maya Ferguson looking off Antoine. It's going to be another D3 for Taylor Donaldson. She puts it up, and it's in and out there. A little bit of an ambitious shot, had a little bit of the heat check, up big. 70-43, 8:51 left to go in the final quarter. And it appears that Hooker loses the dribble, but no, Amaya Ferguson seems to have gotten a piece of it as the ball makes its way out of bounds. Siena's going to get another chance to make a little bit of an impression with the hole that they find themselves in. 70-43, ladies and gentlemen, with those just joining us, women's basketball here live from the Rose Hill Gymnasium, 70-43. Making a move towards middle. No good, nothing there. She hits the floor, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be KB Hadley. Hadley getting a lot of burn in this game. Appeared in 30 games last season, making 23 starts for the Coyotes in 2023-2024, averaging 21.6 minutes per game. As she looks to look off Camilla DePool in the corner. Here's going to be Zariah Price making her pass to Hadley. Hadley deciding where the offense should go, and it's going to go through the way of Tori. Tori tries to make her way through Omoshola, and Omoshola is able to stop her, get the rebound. Ferguson calling out a play, moving right to left, pushes, leaves it up to Taylor Donaldson, get action back to Ferguson. Ferguson around the world dribble, tries to go for the reverse, probably should have opted for the Camilla DePool, wide open near side wing here, but it gets stuffed by the Saints. 70-43, 18-19 to go.
Well, great defense from Fordham on that one, but a little too rushed in transition. Again, you have to make sure to play under control and in control when you're in those fast-paced situations. It's not that you can't play quick, but you also have to think quick. And if your mind is not keeping up with what your body is doing, then you can be a little sloppy.
Taylor Donaldson here in the near side corner. Gives it up for Taya Davis. It's been a while since we've seen these two on the court here. Taya Davis putting the ball a little bit too far past the reach of Precious Omashola. Little bit of push there by Sapala, kind of helped out. The ball going out of bounds, way of the Saints. Here we go. Dawn in the black lace with the goal there. The Saints trying to metaphorically, proverbially put their faith in their skill, trying to put some points on the board. Zariah Price puts up the three. That's going to be no good. Stagnant shot there by Zariah Price. Going the other way. Taya Davis. Davis slows down the drill. A little hesitation there. Pullback. Tries to make her move towards the middle. Around the world she goes once more. The travel there. It's going to be Taylor Donaldson getting to the basket with the strong hand. 72-43. It's going to be Hooker once more. And it's going to be a quick foul pickup there by Taylor Donaldson. She doesn't like that one, but she'll live with it given the margin, Ben.
Yes, and Donaldson showing her quickness, her first step that is so effective getting inside for two. She just does so many things on both sides of the ball for this Fordham team, Madi.
Hadley trying to move right to left. Goes into the body of the smaller Taya Davis, and it pays her big due. Quick little shot at the basket there, 72-45. The Saints able to pick up the quick point. Maya Giles-Jones, big guard university, yes she is. Tries to put up the little shot at the basket, and she's able to get past the guard of Sapala. Sapala with the little flyby attempt, but to no avail, 74-45. 29 big margin points here for the Fordham Rams. Hadley not giving up on this one, uses the Conde screen. Conde looking for the open man, the little curl action there. It's for Anisha Jackson, and Taylor Donaldson pushing her a little bit up, but Anisha Jackson almost beating the ball at Taylor Donaldson. A little bit, not what you want to see in a basketball game, not worth the fight, Ben.
And Donaldson gonna head back to the bench, get some new blood on the floor there, and you know, still a very comfortable lead for Fordham, 74-45, 6:55 to go. You think right now you're going to give the bench some time to develop. Oh, that's a nice block.
Carissa Antoine once again for the Fordham Rams with the big-time block. Looks down the way of Hadley and wide open under the basket. Emma Wilson-Santos, she runs the floor. She gets rewarded. It's a rule around the Rose Hill Gymnasium, 76-45. Once again, it's going to be Hooker and Naira Hooker at the top of the key. Conde fakes out. Wilson-Santos goes to the basket, gets pushed a little. Referee's a little blind to that one. Taya Davis knifing her way through the defense. That is Anisha Jackson. Anisha Jackson tries to get the block there on Taya Davis. She's able to get it, making quick work of Hooker. Tries to put it up, and she's able to get it to go. It's skill and heart over height for Taya Davis. In the post, it's going to be Sapala. She tries her hand, and she's able to draw the foul on Carissa Antoine. The defensive job she has done is something to laud her extra minutes in this rotation.
Absolutely, as right now it looks like she's going to head to the line, and again, she is certainly a player to watch out for on the offensive end, can hurt you from a lot of areas on the floor. As she makes her first there. And also want to touch on Taya Davis. You have to give credit to her driving inside, fearless despite her size disadvantage, just showing the strength to get two.
Siena going to play this one. See if they got two in the backcourt. As Sapala is able to get two to go. 78-47. Ladies and gentlemen, 31 points is the game here. Taya Davis looking off of Maya Ferguson. Ferguson receives it at the top of the key near the letter M by the logo. Carissa Antoine with the high post touch. Back out top for Ferguson. Ferguson corner to Taya Davis. Taya Davis takes a real three. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe she should consider taking more, because 81-47 is your score here. She's able to get it in the short corner. Sapala leaving it up to Hooker. Hooker with the step back three opportunity. Doesn't take it. Jackson's happy to take it. That's going to be no good. Carissa Antoine with yet another rebound. 4, 5, and 1. for a 6-1 for Carissa Antoine. Little get action followed by the Antoine screen. Little zoom action here for the Fordham Rams. They call it out not once, not twice, but 3 times. Maya Giles-Jones will try her 3, but that is nothing. But air oxygen is the name for that shot there, man.
Maybe a little over-ambitious on that one from the top of the key, but credit to Tay Davis again. That corner, right corner 3, swishing it. What you love to see if you're Fordham is in this fourth quarter, it looks like their good habits from the second quarter have returned, and they're washing away some of those stains that we saw in the third. And now it's looking like they're going to cruise to the finish line.
Irene Sabali tries her hand at the tray ball. That's going to be no good front rim. It's going to be Taya Davis taking on Sabali. And that shot goes absolutely nowhere. Up and over for Wilson Santos. Wilson Santos is all over the board. Heart over height. Emma Wilson Santos, ladies and gentlemen. Junior forward, 5'11" out of yours truly, the Bronx, New York, the Bullet School, scoring nearly 700 points in her 2 seasons with the Mustangs, averaging a double digit with 14.4 points per game and 11.9. So a double-double is what Emma Wilson Santos, she jumps for every rebound, she runs the floor, she plays bigger than her size. She doesn't know her size, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely, and you have to give credit where credit is due. Just showing that fearlessness, that ability. Doesn't matter what size you are in terms of driving to the basket. As long as you have the strength, the quickness, the agility, you can still get your points inside. And when you look at both teams so far in terms of field goal percentage, how they're shooting from the floor, I want to touch on that, Madi. Siena shooting 23% from the field, Fordham shooting 48%. And in terms of three-point shooting, both teams not shooting well from beyond the arc. Fordham shooting 15% with 3 for 19, and then Siena 18% with 4 for 22. So both not great on that end, but then when you look at the free throws, it's been fairly even. Siena's been making theirs 15 of 18, Fordham 18 of their 20. But then if you look at the story of this game, Madi, it's the rebounds. Fordham's got 51, Siena's got 28. Then when you look at the difference between offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, what's interesting is the difference, the gap is greater with defensive rebounds than offensive rebounds. For defensive rebounds, Fordham's got 31, Siena's got 13. For offensive, Fordham's got 20, Siena's got 15. And then when you also look at the assists, Fordham moving the ball around better overall, 13 assists to Siena's 9. And then both teams actually have committed a lot of turnovers. Fordham only leads by 1, so even though they have a massive lead right now, over 30 points, Fordham has more turnovers than Siena does. But that doesn't matter because in terms of points off turnovers and points in the paint, Fordham is capitalizing so much more than Siena. 20 to 13 points off turnovers, 52 to 18 points in the paint. It's the storyline is in the stats, as I like to say, Madi.
Ben, I love to consider basketball players artists. That's because they are masters at the craft at hand, and it's the little details that make up the bigger picture here. You talk about those discrepancies, and those discrepancies, the rebounding in particular, is what has Siena in such a hole here. 81 to 47, ladies and gentlemen, is your score. And they've been leaving a lot on the table here. 4:47 to go in the final quarter here. And if you're Siena, maybe it's not so much winning the game, but trying to make your impression felt, trying to make a little comeback, a little scare the Fordham Rams, if you will, here, because it's all smiles on the sideline. That is Bridgette Mitchell. She's coached an elite brigade throughout this entire game, running a deep 10-man rotation, everybody filling in for one another, and complimentary basketball has been the Fordham way. Offense, defense, transition, free throw shooting, it's all been clicking tonight, and it's a scary product, a scary team that you have win this Fordham Rams when they're firing on all cylinders.
Well, it's interesting you talk about what will Siena do in these next few minutes. I mean, they have a massive deficit that they almost certainly can't overcome, but a lot of times if you play well in the final few minutes of a game that's not going your way, that can bleed into the next game. You know, momentum can kind of be a complicated thing where it can switch from one game or transition from the end of one game into another. So Siena certainly trying to end on a high note, even though Fordham has a commanding lead.
34 points to be exact. make that 35, 82-47. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that correctly. For those just joining us, I am Madi Dembele, joined here by Ben Oppenheimer as your color analyst. I'm on play-by-play here. It's going to be now 36 points, 83-47 here. Emma Wilson-Saltos putting it at the line, 8-4 night for her. It's going to be Sabala at the top of the key. Sabala with a little dump off back behind the back mask there for Anisha Jackson. Only where she could get it, almost like a quarterback to receiver connection that those two have. Taya Davis, little get action from the receiver, Giles Jones. Giles Jones flares off of the Antoine screen. It's going to be Amaya Ferguson. Ferguson surveilling the court, looking the way of Taya Davis. Davis gets the ball back. Emma Wilson-Santos inside, goes up over two. That's going to be no good. It's going to be Zariah Price. Zariah Price, ladies and gentlemen, as we said, on one leg. Ball going out of bounds near me. Kind of wanted to get a little bit of pigskin. Wanted to get some of that basketball talent on me, Ben.
Well, hopefully not too much, Madi. You don't want to get hit in the face there.
Not at all. No. That would not be good. I'm not good at bleed easy, Ben. Taya Davis into the backcourt. It's going to be Ferguson as the inbounder there. Ferguson receiving the pass back. She's going to use the Salto screen. And it's going to be inside to Rose Nelson. Nelson looks to make her move. Good. And that's going to be no good there by Rose Nelson. A little bit of a weird play there, out of bounds on the side of the Fordham Rams. The Siena Saints, 83-49. They're going to have a chance to break this large deficit here as they find themselves in the hole by 34.
Well, maybe a chance to chip away, but not much of a chance to take back the lead, Madi.
Maybe not take back the lead. A little bit of optimism, if you will, Ben Oppenheimer. Sabala leaving it to Condi, and there's going to be confusion here. Terry Prim, he's going to reel his team back in for the quick timeout here. And Ben, like I said before, maybe that's wishful thinking, maybe that's a little bit of optimism here. But if you're Siena, again, the win is not something that that may not afford you in this game. You will look to go 0-4, but maybe you can make something be felt on the side of the Fordham Rams. Maybe you could go on a little run, no?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to try to go on a run. That's what they did in the third. It just wasn't enough, and Fordham's defense was good enough to prevent it. But then when you look at how teams finish games in basketball, particularly how they finish blowouts, even if a team can, cut almost 40-point deficit to something like 25, that's a win in and of itself because that'll carry over to the next game. So that's what I think Siena and Coach Prim is focusing on right now is how can we finish this game off right? You're not going to win. You're not going to come close to winning, but you want to have a positive ending.
Ben, a little bit of Fordham history for you. The largest margin of victory that Fordham has ever won by was, get this, the double nickel. 55 points, yes, the same amount that Jordan dropped on the Knicks. I'm so sorry, Ben, that I had to bring that back up. But 55 points, and that was against St. Francis, December 5th, 1992. Fordham now up in this one by 34. You kind of wish that they could maybe come up with 21 extra points to try to reach that margin, maybe break it here. But I'll take 34 big ones here. 3:36 left to go, 83-49. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a quick intermission. We'll grab some water here. Ladies and gentlemen, do what you have to do because we will be right back.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you feel the love in the air? And by love, I mean the Rose Hill air from the Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx. Madi Dembele as your play-by-play commentator. Ben Oppenheimer, the one and only, as your color analyst. 34 points 34 points, largest margin of victory for the Fordham Rams back December 5th, 1992. A little bit of an early Christmas Day present for them. 55 points, Ben. Is it possible? I mean, 21 points, it's a long way to go, but the way that Fordham's been playing, I don't know.
Well, I almost think it won't happen because Siena will refuse to let it happen. They have their pride on the line, and they're probably about to lose and make it all-time, make it 8-1, I believe, in their all-time series between the two teams.
There's going to be Anaya Ferguson here. Anisha Jackson, she tries to put up the quick three there to beat the buzzer, but to no avail. In fact, it's all air ball there. Taya Davis bringing it up for the Fordham attack. Fordham trying to make it past Jackson. Jackson with the step up. Now trying to lose Taya Davis on the Salto screen there. It's going to be Ferguson. Ferguson using the Nelson screen. Looking, thinks about the shot. And it's going to be Miles Giles Jones passing up the three-point shot. Leaving it to Taya Davis, near side corner. Corner drives in, leaves it for Saltos. And Saltos able to get it amongst the trees, which he does so well. 85-49, Fordham building on their gargantuan lead.
Yeah, you just love to see it. And ending the fourth on a high note, that's exactly what you want, especially after what was a bit of a shaky start in the third quarter.
Once again, for those just joining us, 85-49, 2:40 left to go in this affair here as the Siena Saints try their best to make whatever mark they can against the Fordham Rams. The home Fordham Rams here on the sideline is going to be Irene Mora. She's going to check back into the game. A little bit of intermission, a little bit of push there by the Fordham Rams. And into the game is going to be Irene Mora. She's going to take the place of Rose Nelson here. Rose Nelson probably going to check out for the rest of the game. Taya Davis being coached up on the sideline by Chet Mitchell, and you got to love that. Even up a wide margin, the focus that she has for this team.
Yeah, Rose Nelson, one of the most integral, impactful players in the locker room. From Australia, by the way. International, and I just want to comment, Madi, there's been so many international players for both teams tonight. We've seen players from Finland, Spain, from Australia, you know, from France, so many different places. You love that for the sport of basketball and for women's basketball.
Taya Davis, far side wing there. Free throw line extended using the Rose Nelson screen. Going to be back out top to Nelson. Nelson with the quick pass to Irene Mora. She's fouled by behind there by Zariah Price. Price looking over her body. 85-50 here, 226 BONUS. It's there in bright green for the Siena Saints there. It's going to be the third foul here for Zariah Price as she takes a seat here literally on one leg. Checking into the game for her, it's going to be Hadley, K.B. Hadley. Junior guard, 5'5", Palmdale, California. Pete Knight, College of Southern Nevada. That's the first shot for Morris up, and it's no good. 13-6. So close to a double-double there for Irene Mora. Back to KB Hadley. Appeared in 30 games last season, making 23 starts for the Coyotes in 23-24, averaging just under 22 points per game. And Mora able to make do on that last attempt there, going 1 of 2, 86-50, 36 points, 2:24 left to play. Hadley trying to carve the defense of Amaya Ferguson. Ball finds its way into Anisha Jackson. Sabala playing hot potato with it. Jackson happy to shoot it, no good. And again, the struggles for the Saints behind the three-point line continues as bodies hit the floor. That's going to be Condi specifically, taking a hard fall there. She tries to fight for the rebound, and her efforts are not rewarded by the refs. It's going to go the way of the Ram here as Camilla DePool checks in for Taya Davis. Taya Davis perhaps taking the last seat for the rest of the game here. Camilla DePool going to finish this one out. 2:06, 86-50 left to play.
And I also want to note quickly that Mora is 14. She's got 14 points on the night. She's showing that outside of Taylor Donaldson, she's the most important offensive part of this Fordham Rams team.
And Amaya Ferguson leaving one point blank at the basket there. Camilla DePool all up in the face. Emma Saltos grabbing the ball away from Ava Connie, who hits the floor for the second straight possession here. Not happy with that one. A little bit flustered, a little frustrated that they are not getting the call there. As they make it past half court, it's going to stay with the Siena Saints here. They're going to get rewarded for that one. Fordham not in a position to foul here, don't need to. 1:46 left to go, 86-50. don't need to slow this one down. You could go home, kind of enjoy this celebratory win here. Kayla Berry's going to finish things off here. Camilla DePool on the bench.
And Fordham, after this one, Madi, they get a bit of a Thanksgiving break. Won't play again until December 1st. So a good way to end the month of November as she misses her first there.
Good way indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, for all those listening, happy turkey. I don't say happy Thanksgiving. I say happy turkey. Enjoy your loved ones. Wish them the well. And watch some basketball during this time. Women's college basketball to be specific. And that's exactly why, as Anna Gandhi puts the second one up. Team had second place finishes in the Spanish Cup in 2020 and 2023. And Maya Ferguson, far side wing, near side wing. And the pass goes all the way out of bounds, shrugging her shoulders, giving a little look of disgust in her own pass. Kayla Berry reassuring her that it's okay, giving the lead. And it's going to be Kaylee Hadley. KB Hadley, chin up, head high, ready to play some basketball here. Sabala acting as the offensive hub. Anisha Jackson working into the middle, and yet again, a little bit of offensive miscommunication. It appears that Anisha Jackson may have bumped knees on her way to the basket there, trying to rub it off, run it off, as she tries to stay in front of Amaya Jackson there, Ferguson, excuse me. And the standard pick and roll goes away up the Fordham Rams. Emma Saltos going strong to the basket. It's good for two.
That was a powerful drive there, still showing the energy, even up over 30 with a minute left.
And again, we talk about the kind of power that she exudes at such size. Emma Wilson-Saltos, 5'11", but she plays as if she's 6'5", the strength that she has, and it's a luxury that Bridgette Mitchell has, the positional size from a ton of these players, whether it's Kayla Berry, whether it's Maya Giles-Jones, whether it's Saltos, and Amaya Ferguson is breaking loose for the easy deuce. 90, ladies and gentlemen, 90 points. Rose Nelson is loving it on the sideline, 90-51, 39-point margin, 39-point lead for the Fordham Rams as we are now 45 seconds away from the end of this one. KB Hadley trying to dribble it out, trying to get something to go, anything, trying to conjure up some offense for the Saints. Hadley leaving it up to Tori. Tori makes a move, one dribble towards the middle, and it's plucked away by the Fordham defense. You could thank Maya Giles-Jones for that one. Not sure what to do with it because only seconds separate shot clock and game clock here. 22-21, ladies and gentlemen. The Fordham Rams getting it done on their home court as they've done all season. They have defended the Rosa. Maya Ferguson showing some class here. She's going to dribble it out. A little bit of a violation here. Again, merely milliseconds separates the shot clock and game clock. Class on the side of the Fordham Rams. Bridgette Mitchell and her brigade getting it done. Only 0.5 left. That's all that Siena could do. That's all that they could work with. 90-51. And Ben, if I had to give it a grade, if I was a professor here, A+ by the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, I would say so, Madi, especially due to their strength, their just offensive pummeling of Siena in the second quarter.
Rams win, ladies and gentlemen. You see the graphics. The Fordham Rams do what they do best, ladies and gentlemen, and they defend the Rose Hill Gym that is here live from the Bronx. Madi Dembele, Benjamin Oppenheimer. That is a game. That's one for the books. The Fordham Rams improved to 3-3 on the season. Siena 0-4. They are lost, looking for anything. Co-head coach Terry Brim looking for a win as they make their way through the season. Fordham going to take on LIU after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, happy turkey. A great hit here by the home crowd. They're waving all smiles, all hugs here. A little bit of sibling action here. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Rose Hill Gymnasium, I have been Madi Dembele, joined here by Benjamin Oppenheimer. On-site producer is Lydia Perner. We're going to kick it back to the boys in the studio, George Fugatakis and Thomas Tinsdale. Sorry I didn't give you that shout-out earlier. But ladies and gentlemen, good night and good game.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios. The Fordham Rams absolutely annihilated the Siena Saints by a score of 90-51. George here, joined by Thomas Tisdale. Thomas, what do you think of this Rams performance?
Domination. I mean, that's the one word we can use to describe this Fordham performance. You know, there was a moment in the third quarter where you're like, okay, hold on, Siena might miraculously make a comeback here, and then Fordham quickly shut that door behind a 23-point fourth quarter, and it was just domination from wire to wire pretty much. And they played a physical brand of basketball, and they beat them down low in the post.
Yeah, as you mentioned in the halftime show, the size difference made a huge point in this game, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter in the paint out of their 23. In the third quarter, they had 10, and even in a slow third quarter. But I want to give a quick shout out to Taylor Donaldson, 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. That was our leader this game. It was great to see a good performance out of her.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, Donaldson led the way, obviously, in scoring. But, the scoring was distributed throughout the roster, not only just with the starters, but also with the bench. And, that's the thing that I think Fordham can be most proud of is how everyone who touched the court contributed in a significant way and played a really good game of basketball.
Yeah, I agree completely. Up and down, the team played like a unit. We had 4 of our scorers in double digits. And all of our players got on the board except for one, and they all got sufficient minutes enough to put in the work that they needed to really make this game click.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And, it's easy, when you're in a blowout to sort of get content and sort of play a slow brand of basketball, But Fordham really turned it on in the fourth quarter, scoring 23 points. And, you're incredibly pleased with how the offensive played, but also with how physical the defensive played. Siena scored 23 in the third quarter, and you thought Fordham was letting off the gas a little bit there. And, maybe Fordham would have won that game, but, you would have been left with a sour taste in your mouth. But they really shut the door in that fourth quarter, only allowing 8 points, especially when most of the bench players weren't at that point. It was really impressive from this Fordham team.
Yeah, it was great. As you mentioned in the halftime show, Siena came out of the gates firing. 4 for 9 from 3, a total of 7 for 19 from the field. Fordham only 5 for 11 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3. But similar to the first half, Fordham was able to shut down that little flurry of momentum and then play their game and close them out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only worrying sign from this game is how Fordham started the first and the second half. Letting Siena go on a little bit of a run, letting Siena have a little bit of hope in terms of trying to win this game. But, Fordham responded quite well. Maybe they don't get quite as lucky when they play a higher level opponent than Siena, but you have to be proud with how Fordham responded after those quick little flurries from the Siena offense.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing to highlight, the bench points. 15 bench points in the fourth quarter to 1, and in the third quarter, Fordham had 7 bench points to 4. So overall, second team was putting in the work. Very nice to see from a Fordham team from number 1 to number 12.
Yeah, Siena has a pretty short rotation. They only played 7 players today, and Fordham played 11, I believe. And so you have to be incredibly proud of how the number 1 scorer in Donaldson all the way down to the 11th player on that bench played today, especially when they were trying to match up against the Siena guard play in which they try to spread the floor and try to go on little runs with their 3. Just the suffocating defense, especially on the perimeter. Siena only shot 18% from 3, and that's something you have to be incredibly pleased with if you're the Fordham coach.
Yes, most definitely. And then you also have to look on every game has its bright sides and also its downsides. You have to look at the possession of the ball. Fordham, 8 turnovers in one quarter. In the third quarter, 8 turnovers. It's not a great sign. In the first half, we had a total of 11 turnovers, and 8 turnovers in one quarter isn't good. We had the same amount of turnovers in the first quarter as we did in the third, which can show the slow start that we had. But in the end, we were able to hold the lead throughout the game. Very, not unsurprisingly, right at halftime we were up massive, so not surprised we were able to hold on and secure the W.
Yeah, those turnovers, they could have costed us against Siena today, 21 overall, but Siena wasn't really able to capitalize off those turnovers. So the transition defense from Fordham was impeccable. Siena only had 13 points off of 21 forced turnovers. So you have to be incredibly pleased with how Fordham ran back on defense and got set incredibly quickly.
Definitely. And then Fordham only scoring 24 points off of 22 turnovers. That transition offense was a little lackluster. You should be able to score on most turnovers and only scoring on half of them is not really great.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that number be a little bit higher, but you can't blame them. Fordham tried to slow the game down in the second half, which is understandable when they were up by 31 at half. So you would have liked that points off turnovers to be a little bit higher, but I'm not too worried about that number just because of how large the margin of victory was.
Yep. Any other comments?
No, I think I'm good. The Fordham offense just played lights out today, and the Fordham defense, I think, was just a little bit better. And I'm excited to see how this Fordham women's basketball team can carry this momentum into their game against Stony Brook.
I agree. Here from the Rose Hill Studios, I'm George Svugatakis, joined by Thomas Tisdale, Kurt Sipple behind the boards, Sophia Smith as our engineer. I would like to give a quick shout out to Madi Dembele for the play-by-play and Ben Oppenheimer on color. Bobby Chaffardini is the sports director, and this Fordham women's basketball has been a production of WFUV Sports.